things. He liked cheap red wine, Modelo with a lime, and medium spicy wings. As the cousin of the uncle of the great-grandson of a former major mafia man, he'd have your respect and he'd have it quick, or else he'd cuss you out as hard as he can. So put some respect on his name. You better put some respect on his name. Mozzarella Mike sports bet his whole check on a 12-leg Sunday parlay. Knowing he could make $1 million kept him going and focused as he worked through that whole Saturday. Someday he'd finally hit and he'd revive the glory of his precious family name. He'd run the whole town, a king with his crown, back to their business of managing waste. So put some respect on his name. You better put some respect on his name. Mozzarella Mike ran that Jimmy John's like a drill sergeant running drills. He was the Don of the John, the Cosa Nostra, cold cuts, and someday you'll all bend to his will. So put some respect on his name. You better put some respect on his name. A black leather jacket and a taste for the finer things. He liked cheap red wine, Modelo with a lime, and medium spicy wings. As the cousin of the uncle of the great-grandson of a former major mafia man, he'd have your respect and he'd have it quick, or else he'd cuss you out as hard as he can. So put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name. Mozzarella Mike sports bet his whole check on a 12-leg Sunday parlay. Knowing he could make $1 million kept him going and focused as he worked through that whole Saturday. Someday he'd finally hit and he'd revive the glory of his precious family name. He'd run the whole town, a king with his crown, back to their business of managing waste. So put some respect on his name. You better put some respect on his name. Mozzarella Mike ran that Jimmy John's like a drill sergeant running drills. He was the Don of the John, the Cosa Nostra, cold cuts, and someday you'll all bend to his will. So put some respect on his name. You better put some respect on his name. Gina, you don't know what it's like, sucking down these lucky strikes. You think you can just shatter my heart like that, just because we only met last night. Gina, did you even think about our kids? By kids I mean our potential kids. I bet they didn't even cross your mind when you sent that text to sever our ties. Ooh, Gina, I loved you more than you could ever know. Ooh, Gina, this Lone Star and PBRs are the only friends that I have for sure. That I have for sure. Gina, you're a cold-hearted witch. How dare you call me a son of a gun? My mom's not a gun. How could she give birth to me if she was a gun? Ooh, Gina, I loved you more than you could ever know. Ooh, Gina, this Lone Star and PBRs are the only friends that I have for sure. That I have for sure. Everybody's saying Ricky, she was just the bartender, sitting near the beer tap isn't a day. But with the sparkle in her eyes, we talked about Fireball. I knew right then and there we could go all the way. Ooh, Gina, I loved you more than you could ever know. Ooh, Gina, this Lone Star and PBRs are the only friends that I have for sure. Gina, I love you more than you could ever know. Ooh, Gina, this Lone Star and PBRs are the only friends that I have for sure. That I have for sure. They say the worst thing she could say is no. The worst thing she could say is no. So I walked up to that pretty lady and I said hello. And the worst thing she said wasn't no. She called me ugly, she cut real low. She cackled at my great big old nose. She said I'd date you like I date a billy goat. But at least the worst thing she could say is no. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Scott Gretzky gave me courage that day. So I gathered up my gumption and I wasn't gonna wait. Cause you miss all the shots you don't take. Well, she called me hideous with spitting rage. She hit me with her pink pepper spray and said I had reptilian proportions like a snake that's overweight. But at least you miss all the shots you don't take. Can't hit the ball if you don't swing. Yeah, you can't hit the ball if you don't swing. Thought she looked like a nice, cute, normal little thing. And you can't hit the ball if you don't swing. Well, she shot me dead with a 22 before I even said hi, how do you do? With blood red eyes, she ate my face, but at least the worst thing she could say is no.
Talking about those. Sorry, you're discussing
Ronnie worked the Waffle House, had the third shift, had a body in his truck, he had yet to deal with Saul.
What is default?
Whoops.
You're welcome, Brotero. Actually,
He dug on the ground for me, Miss Dolores, and there's a good reason he's known as Ronnie Rigamortis.
Also, shout out to Brotero TV. Not only a fellow fitness person who works out. So if you guys like the workout streams,
Dolores started asking a few too many questions about the trailer by the Bojangles on Highway 77.
But I think that's how he's playing Resident Evil. So, but anyway, fellow cosplayer, fellow content creator, you guys should definitely check out Brotero's stuff.
Sure, Rabbi Chicken Place
Also,
ain't
Waffle.
ideal, but Ronnie makes sure to know about.
I'm sorry, I heard the call of Ronnie Rigor Mortis, and I just could not stop myself from letting it play. I definitely should have, like, stopped it, but I can't stop that. I don't think you understand. Listen, it's between that and Mozzarella Mike. Ricky Chilton's got a fucking chokehold on me for no reason. Also, so the worst thing she could say is no just dropped, like, I think Friday, and I could not hold it fucking together.
It's art.
Like, I could not hold it together. What I was saying, sorry, is I was giving a shout out to a fellow fitness creator, Brotero TV, who not only does fitness stuff, so if you guys like the workout streams, he does those, also does content creation of various varieties. I think he just finished playing Resident Evil, or at least has been playing Resident Evil, so if you guys want somebody else fun to watch, you definitely should. But yeah, so definitely check out his content. He is fun to watch. That's the story of my fucking life, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you couldn't hear me over Ricky. I was absorbed. Hey, Sai. Also, Bafo, I adore you. You are the bread and butter to my fucking toast, buddy. Without you, I would not have bothered to notice.
Hi, Spike.
Hi, Spike. Friends for just over 3 years. Wait, why are we talking about our friendship? We've been friends longer than 3 years. That's not it. Immediate silence. Yeah, I saw Mr. People Pissers here. I need to steal you sometime to ruin Sai's life for my amusement. I'm always down. Send me a message. Hello, Ophelia. Also, we've rated Ophelia a couple of times, but in case you guys are not aware, Ophelia Cyber is also a very lovely streaming human being. I think Ophelia's also, or was also playing Resident Evil. Everybody's playing Resident Evil. It's fine. We're not friends. I'm never answering, "Hey, Badge, how are you?" Also, shout out to you. I don't think you stream, Badge, but you should check out Badge 502. If you guys like the why I shouldn't insert this thing into an orifice guy who just looks at you sternly in the camera and goes, you should check that out. Oh, bet! I didn't know you streamed. Well, apparently Badge also streams, so that is good. I will believe things. Forza going, bro. Yeah, I will give shout outs as soon as the timer runs. Yeah. Badge, actually, since you're here, I will give a shout out. So, polite and loving reminder that we are doing Creators After Dark is upcoming. Brotero, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, Creators After Dark is a convention. I don't know what part of the country you're on, but it may be of interest to you. Creators After Dark, of course, is run by Bishojo Mom, Juliet Michelle, who is a very lovely friend, amazing human being, and just generally great. But I'm very excited to be a guest of honor for Creators After Dark, which is April... Hold on. Hold that thought. It's a date that my calendar is not allowing me to pull up because I guess my calendar doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure it's the first weekend in April. It's like the 2nd through the 5th or something. But yes, Juliet does run it. So it's going to be a good time. But if you guys are into an awesome convention vibe with like comics and anime and various types, but still kind of want more of an adult feel to it, this is definitely the convention for you. It'll be a lot of time though. But after that, we also have Norse Forge Gathering, which of course is Norse Forged, Skate. There's going to be a ton of people. So Taco Reacts will be there. Tank Tolman, of course, whom I love and adore very, very much. But Tank Tolman will also be there. I will be there. Ellis is going to go. Badge 502 will also be joining us, which is pretty fucking cool. Totally unexpected, but really, really cool. So there's going to be a lot of awesome content creators who will be going. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. That's further on the east side. So I know a lot of people were asking if I ever come to the east side of the country. That'll be North Carolina. So if that's close, then I would say that might be a good opportunity. I will not be making it to PAX East. I was supposed to, and I was also supposed to assist in a panel host while I was there, but unfortunately, between personal things and just a lot of stuff going on in my private life, both with like my grandma and making sure things are being handled and taking on more work to inadvertently deal with offset costs and things, it's just not in the cards. But do me a favor if you're going to PAX East and go bother Dread XP. Go say hello to them for me. Go bother them. Go ask them questions. Go see what new games they've got coming up. From what I understand, they've got a lot of really cool demos that will be dropping for PAX East. So just go say hello to them. But yeah, has anyone watched the new episode of The Amazing Digital Circus yet? I have not, but I understand. I understand there's a crocodile character that may have dropped.
I've heard a lot about it.
I bet you've heard.
I don't watch it, but it's been sent.
Oh, I got sent art. Hold on, wait. Hold on. I got sent art. I'm still typing in Twitter. I'm never gonna stop. Never gonna stop typing in Twitter. Here's the deal. I want to point out, by the way, I'm not horny. So this art this was sent to me, again, for clarity. I did not go seeking this art because I have not watched or caught up on Digital Circus. But this art was sent to me. So you're welcome. There we go. This art is done by NK54069, Mersey. But I guess this is Gummy Goo is their name, apparently. So like the artist in the message too, in like the thread was like, hey, so I didn't mean this to be sexy, but I know how some of you are gonna be about it. It was supposed to be creepy, and I'm like, first of all, you clearly do not know your audience, okay? Yeah. Because that. Again, I don't know a lot about Digital Circus. All I know is that this was sent to me, and I was like, you know what? And then,
like my type.
And then somebody in the comments was like, put a bag over his head, it'll be fine. I'm like, first of all, he's gonna chew out of the bag. I'm not sure what you mean by that. He's chewing out of the bag, my guy. But no, I haven't watched the new episode, nor have I caught up on it in the slightest. But yeah, apparently that's a thing. I guess it was supposedly really good.
Also, before I forget, because I saw it somewhere up further in the chat, somebody asked if we were going to the other gathering. I don't think so this year. No.
Yeah,
We
whoop,
do
whoop,
want
man.
to go back, but I don't think are going to make it this year.
The reality...
It's very difficult timing for us every year.
The reality that I run into a lot of the time is that when we have certain conventions that are, like, required to go to, I have to take into consideration, like, scheduling. I have to take into consideration, you know, what's going on in the month. I have to make sure that the animals have time with us and are taken care of appropriately. Not to say that, I mean, obviously they always are going to be, but it's one of those things where I have to weigh, like, what's reasonable versus what we can handle in a day. And unfortunately, I just don't think...
Well, and the other, not Norse Forge Gathering, but the other gathering, always has this magical ability to fall on the one singular weekend that it is just completely undoable for us to attend, which is why we haven't gone in the last 3 years.
I think it's been a while, because the last time that we went...
We weren't out here yet.
No.
So it's been
over 3 years. Well, because it...
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had I think it was like the 25th anniversary or something.
Yeah, we were still in Arizona though, so it's been at least, this will be the 4th year we had.
Which sucks, because like I wanted to go back and do the Ninja Olympics again, and I'm so sad I can't, but it's a good time. Hello, how's it going? Happy to have you back, big boys. But yeah, so whoop whoop. If you guys are gonna go to the gathering though, please enjoy, have a good time for us on our behalf. We'd love to, but I just don't think it's in the cards.
Eventually, someday.
I have a request from Palm for you, if you don't mind. Okay. Norse Forge is always the same day that Jack the Whipper is at the new... Oh, bummer, man. That's cool, though. I've heard Jack the Whipper is pretty fucking stellar human being, so... At the least, I mean, worst case, you miss it there, you can always pop in. I know that he travels, and I've heard good things, so that's good. At least you got to see him last year, though. That's a good thing. I don't think we've never had the pleasure of seeing him in person. Palm asked me to ask you to read something on stream she had onto hers, if I'd pay you for it, if you don't mind. Okay. Is it gonna get me canceled? Or is it gonna get me, digitally in trouble? Oh, okay. That's fine then. I'm pulling my cosplays out of storage since moving and everything survived. Bless you,
good.
because I don't know where half of mine even are anymore. I need to do fucking spring cleaning maintenance again, which is weird because we've done it. It's weird it's happened more than 4 times.
We need to just go through the cosplay room and sell, donate, or yeet 3/4 of what's in there.
I really should. We tried to do it once already, but it feels like that never works. It just does not fucking work, man. How many different versions of your stream schedule image do you have? I feel like I've seen 5. 2, I think. 3. 3, but I changed out the punch-out one for the furry art, and then the furry art changed to the recent one that Torture-chan did, which I just love it. I love it a lot, so I wanted to keep that one. It's something that was on a real standardized test back in like 2012, I think, so well before AI.
Oh, good.
Oh, I don't like that. Okay, hold on. Are you gonna send it through Discord? I love you a lot. Were we supposed to... Oh, you asked me to play... Oh, I forgot. Okay, I'll install it. So Spike asked me to play a Godzilla game. I don't know anything about it, but he asked if we could play. Okay, hold on, but Ray sent it. Riley, hello, welcome. Alright. Oh, I don't like this. Okay, what is this? The first thing I see is nysaid.gov.
Oh, good.
Oh my god, okay. Alright, class, pay attention. I guess I'm... This is what we're doing today.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, it's AMA chat day. I think that's what we designated Sunday as, so that's fine.
A little bit of everything day.
Yeah, alright. So this is something that my lawyer, I guess, asked us to play on stream. So this is from apparently a legitimate standardized test question series. All right? Okay. So here's what we're doing. Directions. Read this story, then answer questions 6 through 11. The Hare and the Pineapple by Daniel Pinkwater. In olden times, the animals of the forest could speak English, just like you and me. One day, a pineapple challenged a hare to a race. I forgot to mention fruits and vegetables were able to speak too. A hare is like a rabbit, only skinnier and faster. This particular hare was known to be the fastest animal in the forest. You, a pineapple, have the nerve to challenge me, a hare, to a race? The hare asked the pineapple. This must be some sort of joke. No, said the pineapple. I want to race you. 26 miles, and may the best animal win. You weren't even an animal, the hare said. You're a tropical fruit. Well, you know what I mean, the pineapple said. The animals of the forest thought it was very strange that a tropical fruit should want to race a very fast animal. The pineapple has some trick up its sleeve, a moose said. Pineapples don't have sleeves, an owl said. Well, you know what I mean, the moose said. If a pineapple challenges a hare to a race, it must be that the pineapple knows some trick that will allow it to win. The pineapple probably expects us to root for the hare and then look like fools when it loses, said a crow. Then the pineapple will win the race because the hare is overconfident and takes a nap or gets lost or something. The animals agreed that this made sense. There was no reason a pineapple should challenge a hare unless it had a clever plan of some sort. So the animals wanting to back a winner all cheered for the pineapple. When the race began, the hare sprinted forward and was out of sight in less than a minute. The pineapple just sat there, never moving an inch. The animals crowded around, watching to see how the pineapple was going to cleverly beat the hare. 2 hours later, when the hare crossed the finish line, the pineapple was still sitting still and hadn't moved an inch. The animals ate the pineapple. Moral: pineapples don't have sleeves. Question: beginning with paragraph 4, in what order are the events in the story told? Switching back and forth between places, in the order in which events happen, switching back and forth between the past and present, in the order in which the hare tells the events to other animals. I don't even have an answer page, so we would never actually know which ones are correct. But listen, these questions, okay? The animals ate the pineapple most likely because they were hungry, excited, annoyed, or amused. Which animals spoke the wisest words? The hare, the moose, the crow, or the owl? Before the race, how did the animals feel toward the pineapple? I feel like this is some shit that I would have done, that they would have, fucking corralled me into doing in anger management. Or some shit. In the middle of class. There are no answers. The teachers were so fucking confused when they saw it that they literally stopped the test. This is this is one of those fucking things that they do in the GATE program. They're not asking you this because they legitimately give a shit about the answers. They're asking because they want to see where your brain's at. What would have happened if the animals had decided to cheer for the hare? The pineapple would have won the race. They would have been mad at the hare for winning. The hare would have just sat there and not moved, or they would have been happy to have cheered for a winner. These are all assumptive bias. I want chat to understand that this was real. Okay, Ray is just really needs you to know that this was a legitimate question, apparently, on a standardized test. So that's a thing, I guess. When the moose said the pineapple has some tricks up its sleeve, he means that the pineapple is wearing a disguise, wants to show the animals a trick, has a plan to fool the animals, or is going to pull something out of its sleeve. This is what's gonna give me the stroke. So I don't... Also, Palm, thank you so much for resubscribing at a tier 1. I appreciate you. Also, you, Spike. I'm gonna level. There's no answer page. This is literally something that Palm wanted me to narrate in person. I'm telling you guys right now that this is some shit that they dead ass would have put up for Gate Program and been like, we need to assess these children to know if they can see further than they. And then they put us all in a fucking room so that we could learn about writing backwards, and they taught us fucking Morse code and spy shit. Don't fucking lie to me. Is this like an IQ test? I don't think it was. From what I understand and what Ray just said, it was like, I guess, a legitimate standardized test. I don't know, but the shit's wild, man. I'm still wondering if my mind's blocking out if I was in Gate or not. It would happen. Hold on, I'll find the grade for it. I can imagine you've been asked this multiple times already, but we'll do a cosplay of Marvel Rivals Black Cat, and if not, is it a similar reason? I like Black Cat. Felicia's fucking banging. So no, I don't have... I've looked at doing Black Cat previously. There was an iteration with a really cool stylized suit that she had at some point that was textured really awesome. Getting my hands on a suit like that, though, is wild, unless I sew it myself or commission it. But I did look at Felicia. Also, Ray, thank you for the tip. I appreciate that, simply because I narrated that story. But yeah, I am looking at doing Felicia Harding. Yeah, predominantly it's always that tight black latex type stuff. But, like, I want a really good stylized suit for it if I do it, so. The Hare and the Pineapple is an absurd fable-like story by Daniel Pinkwater that became famous for appearing on New York State 8th grade tests in 2012. This is the English equivalent of the math question of, if the 8:55 to Phoenix leaves Los Angeles 10 minutes late, calculate the velocity of the baby assuming negligible air resistance across asphalt, giving the answer in oranges per square inch. You know? I don't ask questions. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. That's wild. I have seen that cover, yeah. I was in 8th grade in 2003. I dodged a bullet, no a mortar shell, probably. Sounds about American educational system. We don't have one anymore. There is no American educational system. Like, at least when we were in school, they were trying to, like... You know what? If they were trying to, like, induct us into the fucking CIA at some point as, like, sleeper agents because of the GATE program, fine. I'll take that. I'll take that over completely annihilating our system so that we can just be... whatever. Now we're leaving every child behind. The ones that aren't being fucking shoveled into systems by... I can't say that shit out loud. Like, I'm gonna wind up looking outside one day and there's just gonna be some fucking sleeper agents outside waiting for me. I feel robbed because we never got home ec or a shop class. Bummer! 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck. Here's the thing. Well, wait a minute. Because it depends on the breed of duck. Because some ducks are aggressive. But some ducks are really, really sweet, and they just want to, like, love and be, like, in your space and chill. So it really depends. It really depends. And it also depends on the type of horses, because, like, 100 duck-sized horses could still kill you. So I would argue it really depends on the type of ducks and the types of horses. There's a lot of pedantics. It's not about what the assessment is, it's about how you take it. Well, so, I mean, when you do... Okay, lore story, are you ready? Once upon a time ago, I applied for a job to work as a... to work at a correctional facility. To work as one of the guards at a correctional facility. When they put you through the testing, you not only have to go through, like, the physical and all of the other shit, but they also give you... like a standardized test that is also intended for, like, a psychological evaluation. So I was going to apply as a CO, right? Basically corrections officer. And so when I did that, I remember doing the test, and 3/4 of the fucking questions on this test that, again, was like a psych eval, basically. I sat there and I was like, these questions are stupid because they're circumstantial, which is not uncommon to how I handled test taking anyway. Like, it was part of the reason I had issues during insurance. Because periodically we would have to do testing when I was working as an auto damage evaluator for an insurance company. And so, like, when that shit would happen, I remember sitting there and being like, okay, but that doesn't make sense. Why am I'm not doing that. Because this does not apply to ABC situation, because that is like a D situation and that's not applicable. I hate it. I can kind of see you doing a job like that, but I also think you'd hate it. I think I would hate it because, to me, there's no sense of, like, hierarchy and authority, and I think that treating people anything less than human is stupid. I don't think that there's any reason. Like, if there is a situation of a position to learn and a position to put somebody in betterment, I will always select that over putting somebody as less because of a, like, XYZ reason. But it's also dependent, because I feel like there's certain situations where I would not be able to handle certain types of personalities that did certain things. And I feel like that would ultimately create a situation for me. I had a horrible professor for my ethics and criminal justice class. I'm glad it was required because the justice system comes in 1,000 shades of gray. Yeah, that would be difficult. I can't get over the animals eating the pineapple that speaks at the end. I mean, are we sure that... Okay, hold on, I have a question. Are we sure that the pineapple was actually speaking, Palm, or do we think that it was just a mass group psychosis? Maybe the rabbit, the hare, maybe the hare drugged all the other animals and then put a pineapple down because it wanted to feel special at the end of the day. You know, not to mention, maybe some of those animals can't actually have pineapple. Maybe it was trying to poison them. I'm just saying, the pineapple is probably a lie. It was actually a hedgehog and they called it a pineapple. Those who replaced the turtle with a pineapple was certainly on something. You know, I feel like they were trying to make a moral, but then, like, how high was this guy when he wrote the story? Exactly, it's somebody's fever dream. I believe psychosis pineapple. See, you get me. I'm just saying, like, what if it was a mass psychosis between all the animals and there was no pineapple? Or maybe there was a pineapple that somebody, like, left when they, like, maybe it was humans that went on a fucking, you know, like a picnic and they left the pineapple behind because they were like, I don't need this fucking pineapple. But then it was a mass psychosis. It's a symbolic god. Reminder, if it was this, like, for 12-year-olds. Okay, but listen, maybe I was on a different level, because I feel like I'd be having the same conversation even if I was 12. I was on some weird shit when I was 12, to be fair. I love that this came from Kick. Oh, buddy. Why is it relevant if I am or if I'm not, or either? I feel like that is not only an invasive question, but it's also just fucking stupid because it's irrelevant. Either way. So if you can tell me why it's a relevant question, I can answer you. But I don't think you can. In fact, I believe that you... Oh, I look like a man. Yeah, I mean, weird. Okay. But what makes me look like a man? I'm curious. Maybe Pineapple was a Hawaiian girl that loved pineapples and you just reduced the pineapple to... No, let them. Are you female to male? Again, why is it relevant? What does it matter? I just need you to explain it to me. I want to know why it matters so much to you. To the point where you're typing in capitals. It must really, really be urgent for you to have this question answered. Jealous of your gains, for real. Oh no, but that's exactly why. And here, chat, we witnessed the digging of the deepest hole in the world. We had to take a set of tests to graduate called the Ohio graduation test. If I didn't pass them, I'd not graduate. There was a test in Arizona like that, too. I feel like every state had its collective, like, point-in-case class where it was a requirement. I swear, I can't think of pineapple juice without thinking of that Jack Harlow line. Fair. I think the real pineapple was the hairs we made along the way. Maybe the sleeves are the friends we pineappled. Yeah, I feel Arizona was one of the states that was pretty in their ranking system for education, so I can't really say anything. You'd be weird if you weren't into some weird shit when you were 12. It's a rite of passage. I feel like that's the case. I was also not one of the kids that fit in very well with any of, like, the obvious positions. So, you entered into the pineapple in the hair epic. It's not the turtle in the hair, the pineapple in the hair. I technically finished schools twice. Yeah, this is a handmade mug. Ellis bought this for me. It came from, Geigen Illusions, and it was made on September 25th of some year that is not, maybe September of 2025. I don't know if that's a month or if it's a day or a year. Did anyone also get treated as a pet by the popular people? Was that completely a unique experience? That sounds pretty standard, to be fair. Well, let me rephrase. I think for some people's experiences, being treated in that manner by popular people was still bullying, but normal. I didn't really fuck with people very often because I wasn't allowed to get into fights. I could not get into fights in school. That was not a thing for me. Not safe. Modern Artifice and Demon, thank you both for the follow and the subscription, Modern. I appreciate you. Sorry I missed that a second ago. It must be month and year, so September of 2025. I can't say anything because Alabama's ranked next to last year in education. That's fair. Thanks, Riley. I appreciate that. Riley found it. Appreciate that. We're still learning Magic the Gathering. I have an entire, like, werewolf deck, though. That's predominantly what I've had. Yeah. They do a lot of stuff. I don't think they're American. I think they come from somewhere else. But not because I wanted to punch anyone. Yeah. My experience with popular people was a date with one popular girl that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but that's a story my therapist has heard a few times. Are you okay? Nassin, you've been here a while. Are you alright? Is it good, man? We have a fuck ton of decks we still haven't opened. Like, a lot. Like, many. I heard there's gonna be a Destiny Magic the Gathering crossover. I could see that happening. Oh yeah, the Godzilla game. No, you're not high. Gigabash. It's called Gigabash. Spike, I was supposed to play it with Spike, but I haven't opened it, and I forgot to download it. But yeah, we talked about it. Because he asked if I wanted to play a game, and then he was like, Godzilla, and I was like, oh, okay, is it like Rampage? And he's like, no. Dates don't want flowers, they want Magic the Gathering. My roommate's getting into Magic, and it has so many rules that I'm scared. I felt that way too, Sean, honestly. But, like, one of the most welcoming experiences into a fandom I think I have legitimately ever had, and I'm pretty sure Ellis could probably attest to it, is going to MagicCon Chicago. So I was invited to MagicCon Chicago to do Karlak for the convention because they were releasing the Baldur's Gate cards and stuff. I think that's one of my best introductions into a fandom I've ever had because not only was everybody really fucking like they were just really cool. But I've never had somebody be like, "Hey, you're new here." And then just thrust a bunch of fucking boosters into my hands. And I was like, wait. But yeah, it was, I would say Magic's a solid fandom, honestly. Like, I mean, every fandom has its ups and downs. I'm not going to say that they don't have their own problems, But what I will say is that it was a good experience, at least the one that I had. But now I have a fuck ton of magic cards, half of which aren't even opened. In fact, there's an entire shelf back there that is just filled with fucking magic cards that I still have to deal with. There was, oh, man, Rampage! Yeah, so going back, I asked Spike if it was like Rampage. Apparently, it's not, but I miss Rampage. I would like a Rampage game. I would kind of be into that, to be honest. I also loved Rampage. You know what else I loved was, Claymates. Do you guys remember Claymates for Super Nintendo? So, I loved this fucking game. This was one of my favorite games in the whole wide world. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. So, Claymates was one of my favorite fucking games ever. Like, ever, ever, ever. I loved this game so much. It was so fucking wild. And, like, so you bounce around as a ball, but then you have to, like, absorb and turn into other animals that you come across through the leveling system. Like, honestly, I would deadass play this, I think, as like a retro day for us to play like retro games and shit. But like, I fucking loved this game. I'm 99% sure that I have it squirreled away somewhere because I went out of my way to buy a copy, even though I didn't have one of the direct Super Nintendos. But like, I 100% would play this for like retro. And if you guys haven't, if you haven't seen this game, it's probably not good. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but I don't care. I love it. I love this game. And yeah, we need to play like Aladdin and fucking Lion King and shit so that I can scream. I feel like you guys... I don't play rage games often, if ever, because I know how I am, and I know that I would scream and cry and kick my feet. But I feel like I'm missing an opportunity to play like retro games because that alone would be enough to make me rage. Glover was good. I kept renting Claymates from Blockbuster. See, Beast gets it. Clay Fighters was good too. Primal Rage was my shit. I'm 99% sure that out in the living room somewhere I've got my Sega Genesis, and then I have one of the other ones. It's all stored, but I know the Sega Genesis is out there because I bought Primal Rage for that. And then there was, I think, a PlayStation copy of Primal Rage once upon a time ago. But I think it would be fun. Autumn's Retro Rampage. It's just retro games. Altered Beast was good. I did play Altered Beast. It's been a long time, but Altered Beast was good too. I will always recommend the Foundation set because of the abilities. I think we bought 2 of the jump sets so that we could play the jump sets and kind of get the basis of it. Because they are extremely helpful. Epic's right. Those are extremely helpful. Primal Rage was fucking the shit, man. What do you mean? Fucking Talon and I think Venom I think their name was Venom. Hold on. I know Talon for sure, because Talon was a favorite. Yeah, here you go. Here, look. Let me open the image. There we go. Okay, here. I got you. Primal Rage characters. So, listen. Vertigo! It wasn't Venom, it was Vertigo. So Talon was my shit, man. This little fucker right here was like the speed run in fighting. But like Vertigo, I loved Vertigo because Vertigo had this ability to like long strike, right? Like Vertigo was 100% a distance character. And if you could get Vertigo in the run of it and like really get good with Vertigo, you were fucking unstoppable. But like, I loved Primal Rage. And like, obviously Blizzard, I think people picked Blizzard a lot. Chaos was cool, but not really my shit. But like, I cycled Talon and Vertigo a lot. Also, I don't remember Necroson. I think that was Deep Lore. But yeah, so Primal Rage was just so fucking good, dude. So if you guys didn't get to see any of this, like, Primal Rage is good. War of the Monsters. I don't remember Necro, but I played Vertigo a lot. I don't remember Necroson either. But, like, Vertigo, yeah. But that's because Vertigo was just a fucking... She was fucking annoying. I don't remember Armadon either. Sauron I remember, and I remember Diablo, because Diablo looks sick as fuck too. Mind you, I think these are like fan arts. I don't think... Hold on. Here you go. So these are like the actual icons. These are what they looked like. Armadon was sick as fuck now that I'm looking at it, but I don't... Predominantly though, Talon and Vertigo were my shit. Yeah. They did, that's true. But I loved Primal Rage, man. That was my jam. War of the Monsters. Could you pull off the pissing fatality? Somebody brought up, fucking, oh god. The name's gone. Fuck. The other beast fighting game. Shit. My brain just... The name is right there. Yes, Bloody Roar. Thank you, Valkian. Yeah, Bloody Roar. No, Bloody Roar. Monroe and Valkian got it. I mostly played sports games till the PS3 came out, so I just didn't play much else. I remember, so we were broke as fuck. And I remember one of the games that we found, like, cheap, because of course they were, was like one of the NCAA football games. I used to play that religiously, because we couldn't afford anything else, and it was just really, really cheap. But I remember liking to play that, because it was just what I had. But yeah, Bloody Roar was fucking... I would love... So Bloody Roar's character list was sick as fuck too. I would love to do a Bloody Roar cosplay at some point someday. But the hard part though is I would really want to do... Hold on. So there's the 1997 version of Bloody Roar, which was this one. So there was Yugo, Greg, Long, Mitsuko, Gato, Fox, Bakurio, and then Alice. And I remember Alice. I don't remember Fox, but this was predominantly, I think, like an actual run with the arcade run. But they had like, I think they went up to 3 and then they stopped doing it. Because I think, like Valkian just said, it's just been dormant. Like they haven't really, because Konami doesn't really do or fuck with them anymore. Yeah, Bloody Roar was fun. So this was one of the screenshots for Bloody Roar. Oh wow, that's really shit quality. Hold on. There you go. You can kind of see it. But Jenny was the bat. Specifically, I remember Jenny. And then I remember the leopard. Fuck, what was her name though? Oh god. Her name is gone. Fuck. Nope, her name's gone. Yeah. I've seen people do cosplays of Jenny. I've seen cosplays of Jenny. But I've never really seen any of, like, Alice and stuff. But I feel like Alice is pretty normal. Here's Jenny, by the way. So that's Jenny's bat form. But I've seen a cosplay of Jenny's bat form, and it was sick as fuck. It was really cool. But this is her traditional look. Sheena! Yeah, man! I think it's S-H-E. Oh, maybe it is I. I thought it was... Yeah, okay. Fucking Sheena, dude. Oh! Sheena was... But this is Sheena's form. So Sheena was this big fucking, like, leopard. I'm pretty... Maybe it was Hold on. Yeah, it's a leopard. Yeah! Time killer. The leopard's from Tekken and it's King. No, you're right, but you're also wrong. Sheena... So, this was one of the OGs. So, yes, King, correct. Also, I have a cosplay lined up for King. But doing the head for King requires a realistic build of a leopard fursuit head because it's non-mobile. And if I was gonna do it, I think I would honest to God want to do it so that it was a functional head instead of just like his luchador type mask, because then I would want to do fucking Sheena. Like, again, I've seen Jenny, and Jenny's sick as fuck, but like, Sheena's my fucking jam, bro. Yes. King, yeah, no. So Black Hole's right. King is technically a jaguar for all intents and purposes. There is a difference. The spots are a difference. But somebody said to do Armored King instead, but if I did that, I couldn't do Sheena afterwards. Then again, there is an alternate, I guess. That's true. There is an alternate. Anyway. Also, that fucking hair. It makes me want to cut my hair off, and I won't fucking do it. I won't, because my hair's too curly. But dude, if I could, I would. I feel like Sheena was like a lost opportunity as OG Muscle Mommy. Am I wrong? No, you don't have to tell me. I'm not wrong. It's just Goku. I want her to beat me up. I want her to beat the shit out of me. I just love Sheena. I'm just saying, we're missing an opportunity to bring this shit back, dude. Like, I mean, come on. I'm just saying. Missed opportunities. She really does have Goku hair, kind of. Like, slightly more slicked back, but pretty close. Anyway, Sheena's great. I would let her wreck my hopes and dreams. You guys need therapy. Y'all will really do anything except go to therapy. King, Sheena, and Cheetor from Beast Wars. Yep. Cheetor, so, hold on. I got you. Hold on. Where are you at? Where? Oh, maybe... Hold on, I might need a light. There's so much shit everywhere. That's not it. That's not it either. Oh, maybe he's up on the shelf now. I think I moved him. Did I move him? I might have moved him. Hold on. I have so much stuff that it's like... Pardon me, Curly. No. I think I moved him, and now I don't know where I moved him to. That's not it either. I thought he was over there, but he's not over there now. I have a Cheetor figure. Hold on. I just don't know where the fuck he went. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. I got him. I was gonna say, I didn't think I'd moved him. Yeah, so like... I did. I guess it could technically work, but like, the spots would drive me nuts because, again, we're looking at 3 distinct different types of animals. And I say that because there are very distinct differences between the spots on a cheetah, a leopard, and a jaguar, and we're looking at literally a cheetah, a leopard, and a jaguar. But, like, it would be fun someday to maybe do that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, it's in the box. No, it is. This is, so this was, they re-released a handful of the toys when, Rise of the Beasts came out. So, when Rise of the Beasts came out, they re-released a handful of these. And so I grabbed it because Cheetor, when I was growing up, was one of my favorites. And, like, I wasn't a big Transformers kid, but I really, really, really liked Beast Wars. So, yeah. I miss Bomberman. That's fair, man. I need to... It's over there. No, the other side. I like how Bafo knows my house better than I do. Like, the homie came out and knew exactly what I needed in that moment. I appreciate you, dude. But yeah, no, it's good. I'm excited. Yes, they sent me the Nutcracker. I had a Grimlock toy as a kid I loved. Yeah. No, I have, so, my Deadpool stuff, mostly, I have a shelf that's got my omnibus. The only one that's not right now is the one that's back there that I had. I think I was doing something with it. But a majority of my Deadpool shit is, like, all on a stretched shelf. So I have, like, the samurai toy. I have the baby Deadpool. I have that. The head that Spike got me is up there, along with my popcorn bucket, and then 2 of my other toys. So, like, Deadpool is mostly in the living room, but I have a couple of things up there. Have you seen the voice-activated robot Transformers? I have not. My favorite toy as a kid was Duck Hunt. Yeah! Duck Hunt was good. I don't remember if my vision was different, but Beast Wars Transformers was in a different filter or something I watched, like, last winter. I have Headpool. I was scared it was going to be, like, a few hundred at TMG. I am glad that it wasn't, and I appreciate it nonetheless. They have a Grimlock that transforms. That's kind of fucking cool, actually. Yeah. They're the 2 types of nerds. Young ones and those that remember the day the Dinobots saved the human race. True. I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody has redressed one of the fortune-telling things yet as a Deadpool. Honestly, I feel like it would take a really good voice actor to record the lines, but I feel like that's doable. I'm kind of... You're right, actually. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't been done. A fortune-telling Deadpool? There's a Duck Hunt horror game. I think I know what you're talking about. The Dinobots were lit, too. It's like... So I remember anything that had to do with animals. So, like, the Power Rangers, the Dino Rangers, and then the Animal Rangers, I specifically remember. And then I remember the Dino Transformers, and then Beast Wars Transformers. But, like, that was mostly my shit. I don't think I played the Duck Hunt horror game. I know that I remembered it. I'm just saying, it would go fucking ham at conventions, a fortune-telling Deadpool. I'm just saying, I feel like somebody would be super down bad for that, you know? Also, if you are going to Creators After Dark, so I do have a panel. It was late because I thought I submitted it and I apparently did not. Until later. But I do have a panel on Sunday that is for sexy mouth noises. So it is the voice acting panel that I did at KimochiCon way back. So if you guys want in, I think it's at 1:30 on Sunday afternoon or something. So it's very out of the way. It's going to be kicked back. It should be pretty relaxed. So I think I vaguely remember that. Duck season. Yeah, I remember this. I never got around to playing it, but I remember the dog, because it was fucking harrowing. But, like, the dog was, like, like, a weird suit. It almost reminded me of Robbie, the rabbit. Yeah. You're doing 2, but this one is yours. Am I doing another panel? The Baddies on the Block isn't a panel, it's a performance. Am I doing... Oh! Yeah, but I don't really count that, because that's predominantly Palm's panel. I'm just there to assist. RC became Prime recently in the comics. That's cool! Good for them. If only I could teleport. We do have an ad break starting in about 30 seconds. I'm actually going to use that as an opportunity to use the restroom real quick. So, go get some water, take a drink... Relax a little bit. I will be right back. I'm going to use the restroom while we go into an ad, but don't go anywhere. We'll see how this goes or something, but I will be right back. Okay. We are back. More or less. Okay, sorry about that. So, thank you guys for being patient. Welcome back. Like I said, I figure while we were down. I need to finalize what the fuck I'm taking to CAD. So a couple issues have come up. I'm waiting to hear back from them because I'm a little panicked. But so I ordered my merch at the end of fucking January. And by the end of January, I literally mean like the last week of January, because I knew that this convention was at the beginning of April. So I wanted to ensure that I gave over 45 days, which is traditional for, shipped orders and things like that, especially from print shops. So I made a very extensive cost of an order. And we got into the beginning of March, because I gave them the full 30-day cycle. We got into the beginning of March, and I hadn't heard from anybody. I hadn't gotten a shipping thing, nothing. So I started emailing them literally March 1st, and I was like, hey, I'm just wanting to know what's going on. Gave it a couple days. No response. And I was like, okay, let me try again. Hey, what's going on? And they were like, no response. Cool. Okay. Tried a third time. Hey, this is the third time I'm emailing. I need to know what's going on with this order, because I've got a fuck ton of shit I need for this convention at the end of the month. Or at the beginning of April. What's going on? No response. So finally, I had Ellis send a separate message through the website, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. And they proceeded to let me know. Mind you, this is March 15th, I think. And they were like, hey, there was an error with one of the pens that you were going to order. And I was like, cool. We didn't think to tell me that a month ago? You didn't know? And they were like, oh, well, we're telling you now. So I told them, I said, look, just cancel the pens and then send me the rest. I have to have this by April 1st. Non-negotiable. I have to have this stuff in my hands by April 1st. That's why I ordered it so early. So I could be good to go. And they were like, yeah, we'll give you the shipping information in about 5 to 7 days, and then, it should update. And I was like, okay, I still don't have an update, and it is March 22nd. And I gave benefit for business days, just so we're clear. I gave benefit for business days. I'm very understanding. I like to imagine that I understand shit happens, things come up, stuff goes a little sideways sometimes. I get it. But I looked at it and I went, so now we're sitting, hi Stepien, how are you? It was very peak professionalism. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I gave multiple points, right? I get it, stuff happens, but I need this stuff for this convention, guys. So I finally emailed back, and today I sent a follow-up, and I was like, hey, listen, I know that there was an issue that I was not notified about with the prior order. I said, but it's been a week, and I have no shipping notification. I have to have this stuff by the beginning of April. April 1st, I need it in my hands. And so we're going to see what happens. Yes, Monroe, huge shout out. Shug had a problem with hers, didn't tell her they needed to send images individually. Oh my god. Oh, I would scream. That's terrible. I'm sorry that Shug had to deal with that. But that's exactly why I'm a little pressed. So I'm trying to figure out now, all right, what is my backup plan if this goes awry? Thankfully, I'm going to still have prints. I'm going to still have stickers. I'm going to still have, some stuff. But, I'm waiting to hear back from them. And I'm in a little bit of a panic. A little bit. That's kind of what it feels like, though. Because at this point, I'm just going to be like, look, just refund me. And I would rather take the money that I spent and, put it into another good good solid printer and just do this shit myself. Like, I have a t-shirt press and all that other shit. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, fuck, man, I need to figure it out because I have to have merch for this convention. I've got a couple calendars and I've got a couple other things. And I can do voice acting stuff. So, like, if you guys want me to narrate something or if you want me to, like, do something along those lines, like, the benefit is I myself am a product. So, like, we're getting the damn thing. But, you know, I appreciate that modern. There were dockies and stuff that I was really looking to have, and like a couple of pens and things and like keychains, but like they told her if you cancel it, you're out of the money because we printed this thing 400 times. Oh, I would have lost it. Hell no. Oh my God. They have to fix that though. That's insane. If I had the money to do anything, I'd be keeping you real busy. That's fair. I think we have menus. I think we have menus for Creators After Dark. I don't remember what's on my menu though at this point. I think. I don't know. Rain, thank you for the follow. Also, I definitely needed that posture check. Thank you. Yes, very soon. It's good, Monroe. It's really good. I have the hardback copy. I think either right out front or down there, but I have my copies of that in fine print. Definitely 100% recommend. You'll like it a lot. That, and if you haven't caught up on the recent drops, like not to I guess to shout out Step In, but like if you haven't caught up on the recent stuff, you need to. I think my pre-order for volume 3 is May? I don't remember now. It's soon, but yeah, it'll be good. That's good. I yelled at him to make his own because why fucking not? That's fair. Oh fuck, I want to do some of the other characters. There's a character that I really want to do, but building the peacock styling is going to take me a minute, and I just do not have the time between the audiobooks and stuff. I'm going to get to it at some point. So I feel you, Monroe. I do. But yes, big shout out and much love. I yelled at him to make his own. Did they ever update you on Emma? So, as some of you are aware, I did make a promise to do Emma Frost because Spike swore that if he wore Emma Frost to Creators After Dark, that I, in exchange, I'm like, look, man, you go balls to the wall and you wear Emma, I will wear Emma in exchange. The last update that I had was, hold on, and I will tell you, I will read you the fucking email. So the last update that I had from the company said, I emailed them on March 4th, and that company said, hello, our tailor said they need extra 10 days to finish it. March 4th. I've had no update since. Matter of fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and send a follow-up email right now, because now that you mention it, wait a minute, hold up. It's been well over 10 days now. Hold on. I love the voiceover work for the Lonely Broadcast employee book. If it wasn't for you and Mr. Creepypasta have done books I love. I'm glad to hear that, James. I'm really excited. Actually, you guys just reminded me. Huge fucking shout out to each and every one of you that have continued to put in for the Kickstarter for a Lonely Broadcast. I just want to give this a quick shout out since we're here. So as a lot of you may or may not be aware, I voice and have voiced since the beginning Evelyn for a Lonely Broadcast station, which has now become a novelization by Kel Byron called A Lonely Broadcast. You guys are fucking insane. We have reached $9,757 of a $3,500 goal. Not only does that mean that we 100%, like book 2 is in the bag 100%, we've got some cool shit for it, but we're done with book 3. Like, you guys have ultimately just funded book 3, the audiobook variant, as well. Like, it's in the bag. It's done. We don't have to do this again. I know that Kel mentioned that we were going to try to find alternates and some updates and a few other things. We're thinking about as a stretch goal of adding CD versions. Because like the cassettes, we really wanted to be a limited kind of deal. So those of you that were able to get the cassettes and then, you know, do that, you guys are banger. I really appreciate your support. But I wanted to keep the cassettes as like a very limited thing. But we're thinking about doing the CDs as well. We did. So there was 20 total for the cassette tapes. We're thinking about adding CD versions though, just so you guys have something tangible and physical, and we thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, book 3 is officially funded as well for the audiobook. So I mean it's done. Anything from this point forward is going to be rolled into extra stretch goals and things. I would love to tell you guys that we would be able to do some type of a physical visual media. I'm clawing and screaming and crying and digging my nails in because I've told you guys that I would very much like to turn it into a feature of some kind. I think it would be a really fucking cool series. Like, very, like, Yellow Jackets meets Hannibal in some of the aspects with that, like, Stand By Me undertone. I think that it would be a fantastic series either way. Whether it was, like, a 3-movie feature or if it was an indie series that was produced. But, like, my ultimate goal would be to eventually see a Lonely Broadcast translated to live action in some capacity. I would really fucking love it if I could eventually pitch it to Dread Central or Epic Pictures as a short-run series to be distributed, or even like Shudder. The requirement for that, though, would be that Kel retains the rights. No question, no argument, like, no nothing. There's no discussion. It's Kel retains the rights, period, end of story. Like, split for the money or whatever that bullshit, that's different. But in terms of the actual rights of the piece itself, Kel does not lose that. And that's where we're going to hit a lot of bumps, because a lot of places, especially for a pitched series or something, they want the rights. And I get that. But it's not something that I would ever want for Kel as an author, nor would I want anything else to that degree. But eventually, I would love to see it come through one way or the other. CDs for the audiobook, that's actually very clever. How long of a read can a CD usually hold? So traditionally, a lot of CD bases are 60-ish minutes. I believe that there are 90-minute CDs. I think once upon a time ago, I believe there was a 120. Let me look. Yeah, so you can do the CDRs with an 80-minute run. And I think there's a 90-minute CDR run too. But I believe 80 is the traditional. So, yeah, give or take. So you've got, because you have the DVD-R, which obviously are, you know, they're gigs. But for CDR, which is what would be required for that digital vinyl for the CD, I think it's 80. So, yeah. The hard part about that for something, for like your novel, is it's doable, but you would have to do what, like, remember the fucking games back in the day for PC where you had to do like 6 install discs? Like, it would be the same thing. Which, think about it like this, right? And this is how we thought about it for the cassette tapes for A Lonely Broadcast, is we had to kind of decide what is cost versus profit. So, for example, the CDR for like the 80-minute runs for like let's say a 12-hour book, right? You know, you're sitting at about 1 minute and 20 seconds, give or take, about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I would say you're getting a 50-pack for $20. So even if you needed a multi-disc, you basically would have like part 1, which is chapter X through X, depending on length, and then part 2, which would maybe be, I would say, let me pull up my little calculator. Hold on. So let's say 12 hours let's say it's 12 hours. So that's like a 720 minutes. So it would be 720 divided by let's say we'll just stick with 80. So it'd be 720, sorry. So 720 divided by that. Come on. 720 divided by 180. This is divided by the 80. Why are you not... Yes, thank you. This is not functioning. Every time I click out of it, it scrolls the page. So yeah, you would have like basically a 10 disc. I would even round up. So if you ever were to do a funding system or you wanted to do a limited run, and mind you, burning CDs now is a little bit faster than it used to be when we were like burning, you know, fucking CDs back then. But if you're getting like 100 pack, give or take, of CDR, it's $25. So you're doing it in intervals. I would say if you needed 10, give or take, at 100, I mean, it's not bad for $25. $25 at an 80-minute run with the recordable disc for data at 100, and you would need 10 a piece, give or take. I mean, that's still 10, you know, that's still 10 orders, right, per $25 run. And then I think traditionally the CD system sets would be 10 songs, 3 hours to record onto a disc. So even then, like Demonic just said, it just depends on the size, which this obviously would have the same leveling as high def music. So yeah. Technically you could find the ones for that, but if you wanted to go slightly cheaper and run on the 80-minute runs, it's still only $25 for 100. So you could absolutely do that. It's not bad. Just time consuming, I think. So, for example, for the cassette tapes, that's why we wanted to do 20. The book is over 20 hours. We're definitely talking over 20 discs. Packaging would be insane, but at the same time, there are companies that take those orders. So it would really just kind of depend on like where you were at with it. There's also companies that you can find that do digital data transfer that could probably find the larger disc systems that do the 3-hour runs. Because I know there's places that do audiobook. Hold on. Audiobook CD distribution services? I know there's companies that do it. Yeah, so there's places that do distribution, and there's places that do services where they will make it for disc sets and audiobook printing. So for example, printed disc with content, email or upload artwork. Yeah, so here's a company that does it with a minimum quantity of 100. And granted, the cost is there, but it really just depends because they can equalize it and do all of that stuff based upon the number of discs you need. So there's absolutely production companies that can do it too. And my guess is, just like Demonic said, there are the discs that can do 2 to 3 hours, which would cut down on the amount necessary. Those were the times. But that's exactly why we opted to do the cassette tapes, is we wanted to do like a very limited edition short to put onto the cassette tapes. Of course. And like I told you before, if there's anything that you need, or if you have questions for stuff, or if you're like, damn, that's a good idea, let me know and I can like point you in the right direction for research stuff. I'm down to clown. I told you that. I'm here for you. I just appreciate the convos that we've had. So, yes, the audio cassette is a case with a solid state drive inside. That's actually a good idea. We wanted people to be able to have the tangible, like, classic experience because, again, part of the whole story for A Lonely Broadcast is the cassette tapes that Evelyn keeps finding. And I was like, I told Wynn when we were trying to concoct ideas, I was like, bro, hear me out. What if we fucking, like, produced cassette tapes with, like, a short? And when Kel Byron was like, what the fuck? That's a great idea. So, and I told Kel, I was like, we can do the runs on them, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I was like, but we would have to limit them, because what I'm gonna have to do is get the deck that literally takes the MP3 and the file transfer and then like records it onto the tape deck systems. So a lot of these are gonna have to be done by hand, which is gonna be insane. So I have to get the actual deck itself that is capable of doing it. So it's going to be pretty time consuming, but I think it's going to be relatively simple because we're just doing one per tape and it's going to be relatively short. But I just wanted people to have something really fucking fun and cool. But again, huge shout out to you guys that have continued to support A Lonely Broadcast and to get us to a point where I can look at the numbers and be like, holy shit, we're at $9,757, which is insane. Kel was absolutely beside themselves about it, and we still have 50 days to go. So there's nothing stopping us from doing stretch goals and updates and getting to over 10. Ideally, we want to try to look at the CDs and a few other things because I want you guys to have really cool, fun stuff. I know we talked about adding some shirts, some exclusive stickers, and a couple of other things too. But eventually I would love to see A Lonely Broadcast be brought to live action media. It's just, again, the only requirement for that, just like anybody, you know, anybody who has like their special story, you want to retain the rights to it. And that can be tough because a lot of companies, that's not part of the program, you know? And so that's why you get a rise of these independent fandoms doing things on their own. Is, you know, they don't want to lose the rights to things, so they wind up trying to do it the independent route. But something like A Lonely Broadcast is, there's a way we can do it on a low budget level. I know there is. I've sat down, I've run the numbers. I care enough about it that I know I've looked. It's just hard. Yo, I'm glad to hear it, Modern. It's amazing. Kel is a fucking phenomenal author, and A Lonely Broadcast is not the only thing they've done. Like, Kel's just amazing. I love them as an author. But like, A Lonely Broadcast could be done on a low budget. It just would be, the support itself is something that I would need to have like a month to film the season, and we would have to basically kind of stylize it so we know where we're filming. The benefit is I have the acreage to facilitate anything we need to do in the woods, and it gives that look, right? So like, I've got the space to film here and it be a budget saver. Finding a like forest tower or shit like that, like there's Airbnbs that are literally old ranger stations, so I know that's doable. But I've sat down and I've kind of tried to figure out cost, and it's doable. But I appreciate that, Modern. That's a big fucking thing to say. But like, we have the source material. It doesn't need a lot of change, and transferring a lot of what A Lonely Broadcast has into a tangible scene set isn't hard, because majority of the stuff we have is less about the environment and more about the actual action. It is very black box in itself, where anything going on is just background. Majority of what you're witnessing with a lot of what happens in accounts is either in the woods when it's action oriented, or it's in the tower. And I am confident that the ability to build a set like that that's safe for actors and be able to make sure that we can get the shots we need, but also have it be a very realistic environment wouldn't be as costly as you would expect on some things. Like, God bless, and like, again, huge shout out to fucking Mark for doing Iron Lung, right? Like, that was a huge thing to see, especially from a creative perspective, because he did the fucking thing. But I think it's really important that things maintain an understanding. Like, I don't have the reach fucking Mark does, you know, like, bless the dude, but like, I'm not on his level. And I'm cool to acknowledge that, right? Like, I've got my own shit going on. I'm in my own space. I'm on my own level, and I'm okay with that. Like, we're good. I don't have millions for the reach, and that's fine. But for something that's important, I think that the passion and the care supersedes anything else in terms of, if you want it done, get it fucking done. And that's where I'm at with a lot of the shit for A Lonely Broadcast. And you guys know, I mean, a lot of you who have been here for years know that I've talked extensively about it and about wanting to do it. And for me, it's just a matter of timing and funds and finding the right group, from a film perspective. The special effects that happen, for A Lonely Broadcast, I think, is the other piece. And the benefit is that I have gotten the opportunity and the pleasure of getting to know some very fucking talented SFX people. Not just with, like Whitney, who assisted us with the stuff for Larian Studios. So Whitney did a lot of the work for the Lizelle and Shadowheart and Astarion that we had for, working under Larian Studios. But Whitney was phenomenally talented for SFX and taught me a handful of things that were really helpful for me with me doing Karlak, among other phenomenal people. So I know between myself and the outreach of other people that the ability to translate the monster system, like the forest man and the... I don't want to spoil it in case some of you haven't listened, but there are some creatures that come up that I think we would be able to handle. The only thing I think we'd have a little bit of trouble with is the torso centipede, but that doesn't come, I think, until a point where we would have more funding. I think by that point, I would hope by that point, I think we would have enough funding to be able to do the torso centipede without too much of an issue. But like Big Boy, right? So Big Boy is the elk with 6 eyes and all of the amalgamation body parts that's kind of been interwoven. I've already looked at how to make a functional elk head that can be taxidermy edited, so that we are able to handle things. We have money, but not torso centipede money. Yeah, we've got the money, but not for the torso centipede. In defense, the torso centipede, though, is like, he digs under, well, I say he, but like this amalgamation of like torsos and arms and legs. It's just nasty. But like, we would have to have so much of that like bio jelly that we pour into the mold over and over again so we can stack human torsos together that it would be fucking insane. A lot of fun, but fucking insane, because it would almost have to be like a pipe system where we would be able to like get scene shots of the thing going down like on a puppeting system, but get it going down and then have like puppeting on the arms so that they're moving independently in tandem. Like some are in tandem and some are independent. So like it's doable and I can see it in my head and I know that it would be able to be translated, but thankfully the centipede, the torso centipede, I think would be a later thing. Big Boy, who is the giant elk amalgamation with all of the body parts and human skin and other things, a lot easier. Because we already have the ability to know the functionality of like the open mouth and the blinking eyes and things like that. Like I have circuit systems that I could rig to build a blinking functional like fursuit head basically. And then the rest of it would just be shots in tandem of like stitched together pieces and things like that that have like that sinew. So I've thought extensively about this shit. I know how I would do it. I know, and I can like, I mean, you guys know, you've seen me do this shit before. If I set down and I do it, I know I can do it. It's just like the support, you know? Having a system of people under like a film umbrella though, and having the outreach for film purposes would make it immensely easier, because then I can just kind of deduce and talk to Kel and be like, look, like we're going to line up the people who are going to handle the filming and this, and then you will work with this person for script writing because it's your baby. Like, you need to have that. So get everybody organized, and then I can just back into the creative shit and make sure that we're covering all our bases. So, like, it's doable. It just, I feel like we would almost have to film a pilot episode to get us off the ground, and then look at potentially just going for independent funding and breaking down cost and like being very transparent, almost like Patreon, but like, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But doing stuff independently, it's good, it's rewarding, but it's a lot, especially for something like that on that kind of a scale. You know, how much could a Justin Long-filled walrus cost? $350. That's so fucked up. Also, so they're talking, Shaggy's talking about Tusk, and I don't know if you guys have seen Tusk with Justin Long, but that shit's wild. Also, I'm not sure what Justin Long's thing is with, like, being fucking murdered in, like, well, technically he didn't die, but being grotesquely tortured, maybe. Be the next Legend of Vox Machina. But even Vox Machina had a really fucking heavy support system behind it. They just recently sold the hero prop. Punished Weasel! Let's go! Also, Gustav, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry I missed you. Yeah. I mean, it kind of does, but... What was the old giant spider movie that was just a rug over the back of a Volkswagen? Oh, fuck. Are you talking about, like, Birds Level? It made $11 million through crowdfunding. It did. Well, but that's something I want to point out, too. It's just, like, Mark had his reach, right? Like, Yes, Mortuary Assistant does come out. Brian actually just did a live screening at a mortuary, I guess. That was a recent thing, which was fucking cool. But yeah, I mean, in defense, though, you're talking about a very large creative group that had the capability to make that kind of money through crowdfunding. I love our group. I love our ragtag group of, you know, fucked up people, but like, we just don't have that kind of reach. You know, I would love it if we did, but we just don't. And it's not a rag on any of us. It's just a fact. Like, you know, there are a lot of spaces that have immense fandoms, you know, and a big thing of that. Exactly. Critical Role had like 1 million people watching their stream finale. That's huge. And that's good for them. I'm happy for them, just the same way that I'm happy for any other creator that delves into that media. But for some of us, you know, we're not at that fucking level. So we're not looking at a support system of crowdfunding in the millions. We're looking at, you know, what we've done, which I'm fucking endlessly grateful for. So even for something for the audiobook to make almost triple, you know, we did make triple realistically, but like, to make what we did, it's insane. Like, you guys have supported us immensely. Yeah, the goal initially, so what I did is, when we broke up the cost, I basically gave Kel, like, here's what we're looking at for pay per actor. Here's what we're looking at for estimated completion of editing and, like, leveling and everything else for sound design. And then here's what we're looking at for general distribution cost and like all of the other stuff. And I was like, so, you know, this is going to be like the base minimum of what we can do for cost versus coverage. So at 3,500, that was about the rounded off level where we were covering almost everything. Obviously there's no profit. The only profit realistically is the profit that was going to the other narrators, to the actors. So there was actually no real profit being made off of that 3,500. It was a cost of paying for stuff, you know, and I don't think people understand sometimes how extensively expensive some of that shit gets when you're trying to do an independent project. So that's definitely the tough part. Hello. We're talking about a lonely broadcast. We're talking about the audiobook for it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, exactly. We just wanted the costs paid. I mean, I wasn't by any means looking at a profiting system, and, you know, Kel and everybody involved discussed it, and we all kind of were just like, look, this is something that, as long as the actors get paid, as long as, you know, production gets paid, everything else is trivial. You know, we want to make sure that everybody's getting something that they can love and they can appreciate and they're into, but we're not trying to take advantage of people by making, you know, a fuck ton of money and asking for more than is needed. I didn't feel like that was necessary. And, you know, Kel agreed, and we both were like, look, let's just set it for what we can to cover everything and make it a good deal. And if it works out, it works out. I was like, you know, it's all good. Yeah, exactly. That's, no, 100%. Sometimes you're just happy to get the fucking thing made. It's a fucking sick statue, though. You're right. So, okay, hold on. Actually, I think you've got pictures of it. Let me see if I can find it. The fucking statue was so good, though. But that's exactly it. You just want to see it come to fucking fruition. And it's like, you're so much love and so much, like, you know, shit gets poured. If you guys haven't seen this, by the way, I'm going to pull it up really quick. Hold on. So this is the statue that he's talking about. And if you guys are into it, like, 100%. But I need to point out that I had watched this thing being crafted. It is a fucking stellar statue. But it is for Sunstone. Obviously featuring Allie and Lisa. But it's beautiful. The turnarounds and stuff like that are just sick. Obviously the quality, because it's on my monitor, but yeah. And no, so you've been working on Buffett too. I've seen the one for Buffett. I don't know if you were planning on turning that into a statue. Also, I'm gonna drop the link. I don't know, let me see if that's the primary one. Okay. I'm gonna drop the link for this just in case you guys want it, so you have it. If you're a fan. But yeah, so I remember when I messaged you for Buffett's, like, nipple stars and the horns, and, like, so, oh, bet! Oh, I'm so excited. I might have to print that in the silk 3D stuff. I'm kind of down. I'm not good at painting, but, like, the Buffett statue build has been phenomenal. And, like, your ability to work through, what is it, ZBrush, is night and day. Like, I've watched your progression. It's insane. I don't want to say I could never. That's not true. Anybody is capable of doing anything with the right desire, you know? But, it's fucking crazy. It's so cool. But I remember I had messaged way back when I did Buffett, and I was like, because I hand making the nipple pasties she has for, like, the chain links into her horns. I was like, there's no fucking way. I would have to sit there and do this to carve it out to mold it, which I may have to do at some point anyway. I might bring her back out for Creators After Dark. We'll see. I gotta reattach my horns. True! The age of 3D printing has changed so fucking much. That's actually part of the reason why I feel like cost for stuff in terms of filming would be a lot different than it used to be. Because you have access to things under a plastic system where you can print bases for stuff and make mold systems. And the amount of hours that it would take traditionally to carve or, you know, to hand produce something just to make the mold, even with, like, because I use monster clay for anything that I try to sculpt, it's insane. But 3D printing has helped immensely. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. But yeah, either way, I'm excited. I just wanted to bring it back up because I wanted to let you guys kind of know. It's been a week since we had an update, give or take, but I wanted to let you know where we were at. I'm super excited. I'm excited to record it. I have a couple of other audiobooks. I think I'm starting on a romantasy next. Yeah, it's like a gothic romantasy, I think, but that one should be fun. It's just a little bit longer. And then eventually in the next month or two when things close, I'll be working on that. I was gonna ask what third costume would be at CAD because it's Rogan's supposed to be Emma if they don't fuck you over. So Emma, I figured I would wear half the day. I am doing the tea house. So there's another part of Creators After Dark which is like a lounge kind of, but they're calling it something tea house, I think. Temptation Tea House or something. But I will be doing that. And then I think they gave me army green or something, I think, for my because every person for Temptation Tea House has a color. And they gave me army green. So I was just gonna come as Jorgen von Strangle. I felt like that was fair and reasonable because they didn't let us pick. They just said, this is your color. So I was like, you know what, man? If you guys are gonna fucking make me wear army green and that's how we're doing this, Ellis, so I will give credit to Ellis. It was Ellis's credit because Ellis turned to me and he's like, if they're gonna make you fucking wear army green, why don't you just go as Jorgen von Strangle? This is your opportunity. So, toughest fairy in the universe. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna do that. I think I'm gonna buy like army like camo booty shorts and wear like that army green crop top and then have like my white wig and shit. Jerkin von Strangle. And then I told Ellis I need my little crown. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that. Inadvertently going to wind up as Jorgen von Strangle. Which was by accident. So half the day will be that. But it was a weird color choice. But I'm assuming that all of the other people had taken like normal colors. I don't know. Yes, I want, we talked about making the, like a pipe system so that I could have the, the giant fairy wand. But, I feel like I've got to use it for, like, spanking purposes, though. It'll be a good time. But Emma Frost was going to be for part of the day, because it wasn't actually a legitimate cosplay that I intended to do. It just kind of happened that way. Rogue, traditional rogue, and then Savage Land. He does have camo pants. And yes, from Fairly Odd Parents. He does traditionally have camo pants, but this is supposed to be like, it's a sexy type convention, so maybe I'll wear the camo pants and then just have like the booty shorts or something underneath. I don't know, but it'll be a good time. I wasn't really definitive. I looked at doing the witch Yautja, but I don't know. The problem with doing the witch Yautja for Predator is I'm scared, depending on how I do the antlers, that they're going to wind up being at risk to break. Hi, Shirosky. I'm worried that the antlers might break. Because the way that the Yautja witch has her tusks out, like, I can make those magnetized so that they're attachable, and that should be fine. I can do the same with her antlers, but because her antlers are very, like, spread out with the way that they're done, I am just a little stressed that they might break in transit, and I don't want that to be the case. She's got a lot of, like, strappy stuff going on for her costume, and then she's got the crow skulls, which the crow skulls are simple. That's not a big deal. Print 6 pairs of antlers. That's how we do. Well, so my other option is to do them out of rubber and just to make a cast and do a rubber set, but I don't know. I'm trying to think it over. I feel like the way that they're shaped, I would have to literally hand carry them. But it's either that or find a way to make them in pieces. You know, I feel like overprinting works in theory, and then you realize suddenly you've got like 6 extra pairs of something because the terrible thing you imagined happening didn't happen. and now you just have extra extra shit everywhere. That's just how it goes. But no, I mean, not a lie. I could do that. I figured the Yautja would be cool. Yeah, man, I feel that. I also have a tendency. Well, so my problem is I am very much of the neurodivergent brain where I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm really into this thing. And then I buy all the stuff for this thing. And then I'm like, yeah, I have all the stuff for the thing. Okay, on to the next topic. And then suddenly I have all the shit for that one. What about the antlers being able to break into 3 pieces for collapsing? Yes. No, so that's a good idea, Viridian. And that was kind of what I was thinking for... Because Ellis is doing that for his Gambit wand. And there is a system that we can rig for a twist system, and the antlers are thick enough to be able to do that. It's not so much that breaking them up would be the concern, because they're long enough to fit into a suitcase. I think my fear is the prongs, and because I've had it happen with other stuff, I just would be a little stressed. I had a pair of horns break just like that. So I think I would just have to be really conscientious of how they're packed. So maybe that's it. I built a full-size Predator in high school. Oh, okay, so like you're... so you're all like, you're on topic right now. Yeah, I mean, it happens sometimes. But that's why you always... As a cosplayer, I feel like you learn to bring a backup system or a way to repair it in the off chance that something terrible goes wrong. What I wanted to do for the witch mask is I wanted to add a mask system underneath that runs along the jawline that looks like the bottom of the witch jaw for the Predator. Have a good night, Shirosky. But I wanted to do a jaw system under the mask for that, so that you still had the visual, especially if like my head tilted up, so that you still had the visuals of like the jaw system that they have underneath it. How do you all think Autumn got Karlach's horn actually broke on one side? Travel. I'm sad because it was the wrong horn, and yeah, actually, that did legitimately happen to me. The full round horn of Karlach's broke, and we had to do an emergency fix. So yes, that has happened. But overall, like, her outfit's not complicated. Hold on, let me pull it up really quick. I had a really good reference image. There we go. Here. So this is the really good reference image. We're one of them. So for this, I've got the helmet piece in progress. I know that the tusks we can do magnetized to fit into the upper cheek level. The horns themselves, like these antlers, I could definitely do it and lay them flat, and I could probably bubble wrap them and get away with it, and they would be okay. But all of the strings and shit like that are just something that I would do in addition. Her laser lights, I was just going to install the light rig and the back side of the helmet to be turned on with like a switch on the back end, so that's not hard. But, so the other thing is this needs to be made and glued. It's almost like a strip dress system, and like I can hand make this. It's not difficult. But I was trying to decide if I wanted to go ahead and just finish her, in which case the feathers are the only thing I'm a little stressed about. Because I can get my hands on the feather cloaks and things like that, but I need to overlay a cowl that is attached to the helmet underneath, and then find a way to basically cover the jawline until I can make the prosthetic. I could probably sculpt the prosthetic for like my jawline to fit on it and do that pretty fast. I don't think it would really be the end of the world if I did it, but currently that's kind of where I'm stuck. to answer your question, predator hunting grounds predominantly, but there was an appearance of these otherwise, but it is predominantly predator hunting grounds. This is what they look like unmasked. So this is underneath the mask. Personally, I think it's cute she's wearing lipstick. I'm super into that. I think it's a vibe. Like, she's down, she knows what she's about. She's cool with it. But the dreads and the feather systems aren't a big deal. It's mostly just the rest of the dress piece. So it's doable, but I wasn't sure if it was something that I wanted to kind of roll and do. Because again, I only have a week and a half, and I still have to record an audiobook between now and the day I leave. Because why not? You know, why not? Let me just stress myself out. Favorite Resident Evil character? That's really hard to say. I mean, I would have to split it. Because, like, I'm a Redfield fan, but Sheva's fucking amazing. Am I the only one that wants a Yautja partner? Probably not. I think there are several people that would be down. Notice all of the beeping of the horny horn. That's what I need as a sound alert. Damn! Damn! I gotta make a horny horn. See how you are? Do you guys see how you are? This is your fault. This is your fault. I got 4 on RE5, but I never finished it. I liked aspects of RE5, but it was so comical with some of it. Like, there were certain parts of RE5 that were just too comical, I think. I would love Sheva to come back, dude. Oh my god, I'd be so down. Azura, thank you for the follow. It wouldn't just be going off all the time. That's true. I need to play RE8 before I play 9. I mean, I would recommend it just because there's references for Village in 9. And it would be helpful just to kind of know a little more about what's going on and understand the connective tissues between the two games. Would I say it's necessary for 7, 8, 9? I mean, you do get backstory. You find, elements of paperwork and things like that. But, I personally would. True, horny or broken, possibly both. In this chat, that's everyone across the board. You should know better than that. But yeah, Sheva kind of just disappeared. Like nothing insane happened to her. She just kind of she just hasn't been back, which is weird. It's fucking weird to me. I don't know. I want her to come back personally, but that's just me. I did start Bloodborne. I have never finished Bloodborne, but the game aesthetic is really nice. I appreciate the recommendation though. But yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to go ahead and finish the Yautja or not, because I know Rogue's not going to take me long to finalize and stylize. I just want to do not quite cell shading, but I want to add a little bit of texturing to the boots because the rest of the outfit has it. And then I've got, obviously, my coat. But I can't paint this because it is that, that vegan leather shit. So, I gotta do that. I need to finish Savage Lands Rogue because I still have to do the leg pieces and things. Basically, I need to lay everything out and be like, okay, what do I gotta finish? What do I have? So on and so forth. Emma Frost was supposed to be for half of the day. Unfortunately, though, I am fucking terrified that costume's just not gonna come in. So I'm not really sure what the fuck to do about that. So yeah, I don't know yet. And I don't have an email. I just checked to see. I still don't have an email. I would be really well, and so that's why I was transparent, Ray, because you funded that, obviously. Yes, for comedic reasons, but I was really hoping to get to wear that because that was on your fund, you know? So I'm hoping they email back, and maybe it's in progress. I know sometimes, like, you order shit and it just, you don't get a notification for, like, a month, and then all of a sudden it shows up at your door. Like, you have no shipping notification. They're just like, yeah, eventually, and then all of a sudden it's fucking here. Unfortunately, that's not the case yet. So I'm trying. But the same reason that I'm dealing with the merch issue, we're doing our best. I'm imagining a cute montage of the Yautja teaching their human partner Yautja things and the humans teaching their Yautja partner human things. I could be into that. I'd be into that. I want the games to bring Mia Jovovich's Alice into canon, like the BSAA or Hound Wolf Squad or whomever finds her in an Umbrella Lab in Stasis. So I know there's a lot of hate for those movies. I didn't mind them, but I also had the ability to separate them as, like, their own separate storyline, I think. I never imagined them as strict canon in any way, shape, or form. I just kind of pictured them as their own thing. But I don't know. I didn't hate them. I'm not sure how I would feel about them bringing it into canon. I feel like they would have to they'd have to break some things up a little bit. The movies were dumb and they're unconnected to the games, but some of the action scenes, I agree. It's not the best, and they were definitely unconnected to the games, which is fine. But, you know, no, babe, if you pull the spine out this way, it's gonna break off. Here's how you do it. She kind of does. Yeah, actually. She does turn into Jean Grey a little bit, now that you mention it. She starts doing this OP shit the whole time. I think Resident Evil Extinction was one of the last ones I watched, and then the one that came after I think I watched. But, like, they probably didn't need to have it, but at the same time, like I said, I almost feel like they weren't terrible. They had this interwoven, nonsensical storyline going on that I don't think anybody followed anyway. Like, let's be honest, we didn't necessarily watch those films because we were like, oh boy, I'm here for the story. Like, no, you were there for hot fucking Mia Jovovich and whoever else came thereafter and the action scenes. At least that's why I was there, but that's just me. Mentally incinerates swarms of ravens shutting down the satellites. That's what I'm saying, though, there were points of ridiculous shit, and then there was like, nah, but the action's still banger. I don't know, I'm here for it. I always get her confused with Kate Beckinsale. The laser hallway! Fucking... I feel like every film around that time period had a contractual requirement for... for a laser hallway. Like, it was in contract for them to have a laser hallway, or they didn't make the movie. Those movies were just her husband simping for her, and that's valid. Okay, but hold on. I will defend that only because Rob Zombie exists. And honestly, if I were married to somebody that fucking hot, especially in, like, Sherry Moon Zombie's case, I would fucking put him in everything too. I get it. If I could afford to do that and that was my shit, goddamn right. I'm gonna just fucking... That's it. That's gonna be the whole fucking thing. I get it. Also, I like Mia Jovovich. I don't know. I'm here for it. It really was. The Underworld movies, too. The Underworld movies were very, like... I don't know. I feel like nobody here is gonna blame anybody because everybody here would do the same fucking thing. If we had the capability to have that kind of position and money, there's no reason we wouldn't. But put like that or the aspects of our spouse's personalities into it in a character thereafter. Like, I'm no artist, but if I could draw, there's nothing also stopping me from writing my own novel and putting fucking, like, Ellis into it every fucking time, which we've discussed. Ellis has an OC, as do I. We've talked about it, and eventually we'll finish the fucking things at some point, but, like, kinda. James Gunn starring his wife in Peacemaker. Yeah? I feel like there's a difference, though, between, like, doing it for the sake of doing it, and then doing it with a partner who's legitimately talented. That's true. Adam Sandler. Yeah, I remember when that came out and they were talking about Adam Sandler. What was it? 50 First Dates, I think, was one of those where they made it and that was it. It was literally just like, we're going to make this movie. We're going to make this movie and take a vacation. It's going to be a good time. The Underworld movies, aka let's just put Kate Beckinsale in skin-tight latex and boots. I mean, kind of. Yeah, Crow said it's a winning formula. Apparently it worked because we wouldn't have like fucking 5 of them otherwise. We all click the button that if any of the Legion wins the lottery, we are contractually obligated to fund the werewolf movie. One of these fucking days, I will get my fucking pie. I will get my cake. I will find a fucking company that is doing a werewolf film and doing auditions. I will audition, and I will get it, and I will have my fucking werewolf movie. I fucking swear to God. I will. Either that, or I'm gonna fucking do it myself. Because, bro, I am so over it. The title was cut off in the Twitch sidebar, and I read, trying really hard to go to therapy instead of deflecting. And all I could think about is a therapist coming over like, you have to go to therapy. Preceded by said therapist getting parried and locked into a finisher animation that insta-kills. Yeah, that tracks. Werewolves if I'm done. I mean, you know, just the Thanos moment. I'm telling you.
Quick question.
Okay.
You didn't open the back gate by the lean-to, did ya? Because Voss has a hospital visitor.
Who is visiting him?
Buckskin.
Oh, did Balder find his way in?
I'm pretty sure he shoved the door open, assuming you didn't.
No, he opened it.
Okay.
Balder opened the door. Was it tied shut?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, it was no. So he probably. So I'm gonna tell you what he did.
I looped the metal wire around the post.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So Ellis comes in. Hold on. I'm gonna imitate what Ellis just did.
Hold on. I go escort him.
I'm gonna imitate what Ellis. So Ellis comes in, and he stands in the door like this.
Okay.
Now he's standing like this. But my point. So Voss.
I'm gonna go fix that.
That's fine. He's not hurting anything.
No, but I don't want anybody, or I don't want the other two to get bright ideas.
I don't know if they're smart enough to get through the gate. So, sexy dad poses. So Ellis comes in to proceed to inform me. Voss is my 13, 14, however old he is now, but my older quarter horse. Voss has what I believe to be an abscess. So right now he's lame, which means that one of his feet is, he can't put it down. So he's limping, right? So he's lame. I'm pretty sure it's an abscess, which, I guess the easy way to explain it to you guys is like, you know those really, really like nasty, horribly hurtful cysts that you get, right? Where it's just like, you feel it all the time and it's nothing but fucking painful, right? It just fucking hurts. But it's a cyst, so it's nothing but like a bubble of pus and pain. So imagine that that's on the bottom of your foot, like right on your heel. You're not going to want to walk on that shit, right? So Voss has that, and it's okay, it happens. It just means, hello, Tabs, glad to hear you. He's limping pretty bad. So we had him wrapped up. We did some Epsom salt with a little bit of, there's some stuff that they make now that basically like soaks it. So imagine putting toothpaste on your cyst. Same concept, right? But you leave it wrapped. So today, because it's been so dry, we've let him, I've let him kind of rest on it. I took it off after 2 days, and then tomorrow I've got to wrap it again. So Ellis, basically we have him in the backyard so that the other horses, because we have 3 others, we have the mare, Hell, who is the rescue, the thoroughbred rescue who came off the track, she was the one that got shot in the head, so she's a little, Balder, my buckskin, and then my, Hugo, who is Ellis's big horse. So he's on like hospital ward. Well, the gate that separates the main field from the backyard, where Voss is just a swing gate. Now, what we do is we loop it with a piece of metal so that they can't get through it and it stays shut. Balder, my buckskin, is very clever. And what he'll do is he will sit at a gate, because he knows how the gates function. Balder will sit at a gate, and he will lip at the gate to try to flip, because it's a like a regular flip one. He'll try to flip it up. Well, if he flips it up, the metal piece is supposed to stop it. The problem is that he also will lip at the other piece to pull it off enough to push the gate open. So Balder understands how to open the fucking fence. And Ellis turns around and he's like, the fucking horse is now hospital visiting Voss. So Balder, I guess, has made it in. And Ellis has just informed us via chat that I guess all of the horses now are in the backyard where they aren't supposed to be because he's on hospital rest.
Peter, the horse is here. Peter, all the horses have made it into the backyard. Now all the horses are in the backyard.
And that's it. That's where we're at now. What is the lifespan of a quarter horse? Is 13 old? No, actually. So Queso was our oldest. And we lost him the year before last. Queso was 34. Which is very old. A lifespan of 30 to 40 plus is old for a horse. But with proper care and just general, stuff like that, they're good. They can really be good. So Voss is like middle-aged, I would say. He's about middle-aged for what he is.
In the yard, not too far from the car.
So yeah, now apparently everybody is hospital visiting him. Also, No Life, thank you for the follow. I'm so sorry I missed you, but welcome back. It's good to have you. Papa! So I guess Ellis is screaming right now, trying to figure out getting them back in the gate. So yeah, my horse is intelligent enough. Oh, I've got to do thanks. I have had no practice. Literally, that is just imitation work. Like, the meme of the horses here is the only practice I've had for Lois. I probably could. If I took time, I could probably do, like, a legitimate run as Lois. I've just never really tried. Just Googled quarter horse, and that's the most, that's a horse I've ever seen. Are the horses still teething on your truck? No, because they can't access my truck. But god damn it, if they could, if they had access, they fucking would. They absolutely would. Don't think for a second that those bastards would not be chewing on my paint because I fed them an hour too late. You'd be wrong. But absolutely no. I still need to do, so I'm going to put up listings in the next week or so. And I think what I'm going to do is do the paint listings where I send a video of them painting for you and do the animal painting stuff we talked about with a little write-up on each of them. And I think what I want to do is send a video and then ship out the painting. But what I'm going to have to do for that is figure out what cost that would be. So I need to break down the cost of the paint and stuff, because anything that is purchased for them goes to feed and upgrade of fixing things, and because we have some fencing stuff that we need to fix and the barn and things. So I kind of I need to do that. I need to set up the listing under the merch stuff, because my merch is all under autumnivy.com, but I wanted to do a physical item. No, the door is not broken again. I fixed the door. The door is fixed. But we do have the barn in the back that we need to do a rebuild on, because so it's the old lean-to. It's still functional enough that we could make it work, but I need to rebuild the roof. So the roof up top is sunken in from where they didn't cover the plyboard with aluminum properly. You're supposed to tarp it, and there's a whole thing to it. But we need to fix that on the back end and then re-put it up. No, so the hoof part happened on the new barn that I fucking paid for. Because Hell can't see very well on that side. She has an edema on the back side of her eye, which basically means that it's like, think of an older person with cataracts, right? So like her eye is glossed over and it's slightly tilted. So she runs into stuff. Which is okay. She just, sometimes she'll like she doesn't know exactly where you are, and unless you are, like, you make yourself big, she doesn't know, so she'll walk right into you.
Your horse is a piece of shit.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Do you hear that? Everybody shame Ellis. He said that Balder was a piece of shit.
Balder's a piece of shit.
Shame.
In the time that it took me to get down there, they were now
Hold on, wait, step this way.
They were now all in the back pasture.
No. You gotta stand. Oh, there we go. Hands on the hips. Okay.
You said that they were too stupid. You were wrong.
He let them in. So Balder's just standing by the gate and he's like, if you just slide on by, you could be back here too.
Right. So I lured everybody back out with the empty buckets. Voss looks offended because there's nothing in the bucket. Hell is really offended because there's nothing in the bucket.
She had feed.
Doesn't matter.
How you can't be fucking offended? You literally had not just a bucket, but that I filled the bucket.
I literally took the empty red bucket and threw it like fetch, and she went through the door and chased it into the other pasture. So that was simple. I grabbed Hugo with a baling twine and pulled him through the door. That was simple. Balder knows. Balder.
Yeah, because Balder looked at you and went, there's nothing in that bucket.
Makes me chase him down for like a good 2 minutes before I walk his ass through the gate. And he watches me shut it, twist the wire, and then tie it shut with baling twine. And as soon as I stand up, he looks at me, does that crow hop thing, runs around the round pin, and then goes into the round pin to throw a fucking fit.
Yeah, that sounds
So he
about
ran,
right.
he kicked, he chuffed, he ran in circles in the round pin, and then rolled around and stared at me like he wanted my wallet. And then Voss is now mad because he has no visitors. The end.
Did you give him your wallet?
No. That's going to come in the form of a vet bill when he throws a temper tantrum.
The problem is it's not even going to be him.
No.
I want you guys to
He
understand
probably went and kicked Voss in the foot.
that you can look at a horse wrong. Just like you fed them 6 hours too late, and you can look at them and be like, okay, I'm going to feed you now. And then suddenly there's a vet bill.
Horses act like they
Pay their own
pay
fucking
their
vet
own
bills.
Yeah.
They do. They really do. I love them. But they literally act like they pay their own fucking vet bills.
So
I
they're all
swear
in
to
the
God.
right place now, but like, fuck your horse. He's an asshole.
If
And
you give a horse a wallet, they're gonna DoorDash oats and barley.
I am very certain that he's going to figure out how to untie the baling twine.
Oh,
and the
he
wire
will.
again.
If you tied it and you didn't double knot it and you tied it
I
so that he
did.
can lip at it, he will lip at it. Or my favorite part, because he's done it before, he's chewed through like the lead ropes like this. He has chewed through the bolt on a lead rope. This horse will absolutely do that, and then he'll look at the metal and be like, I can figure it out. And he will. He will. This is not, look, Balder is not a horse.
No,
Balder
he's
is
a
a
piece of shit.
person. That's so mean.
He's
Blaze,
a
thank you so much for the
person.
subscription. Balder is a person in a horse suit.
Yes.
Like, that is a man in a horse suit. He just... So my favorite thing...
Annoying levels of intelligence.
My favorite thing is he started throwing tantrums. So we were doing really, really well, taking them out and taking them for walks and like, you know what I mean? And like doing stuff. Because they came back from being like going to touch-up training. So just making sure that everybody was good and solid because I didn't want to be thrown into a tree. So they came back and we were taking them on walks and like riding and stuff like that. Well, we had a rush of rain happen where like 2 weeks went by where we just couldn't do anything. And it was so fucking muddy. Like it was so bad that we couldn't. So like that was fine. But what I noticed is over the last couple weeks since it started raining, he started throwing fucking tantrums. And I'm not, I understand that people are like, oh, you're fucking anthropomorphizing. No, this horse has started throwing fucking tantrums. Like, he will wait and look at you, and if he thinks you're coming to the fence, he'll like kind of wait for a second, and he'll be like, are we gonna go somewhere? Are we going somewhere? Are we gonna go? And then if you don't take him out, he starts running across the fucking field and bucks and hops and throws himself onto the ground until you leave. And then he gets mad and he's like, so now you're gonna feed me, right? So, what side of TikTok is he on? Yeah, it was really bad. So what I've realized is he's throwing tantrums like a child because we haven't been going on walks. So today it finally was sunny enough, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put him out. I'm gonna pull him. It's good. So I pulled him out, and we went on our walk, and he was fine. He was fine, no tantrum. But he's so smart that if he does not have some type of engagement, he's fucking. I need to get one of those balls. So there's a ball. Have you guys ever seen the horses with the soccer ball? So I need to buy him one of these again. The problem is I did it once before, and he popped it. So this is, yeah, he popped it. Because what he does is he'll bite it. And so that's exactly what he did, is he bit the fucking ball. Here, let me do this.
You know, I've always found it...
I don't want to... No, the last thing I want is a Geico commercial. Death before ever. Okay, here. Look. So what I'm talking about are these giant fucking, like, almost yoga balls is really what they are. It was, yes. They're like $100 fucking balls. So these are those giant yoga balls. And you can put covers on them so that if they bite them, they won't, like, destroy them as quick. But he had one of these fucking things, and Balder trashed it in like a day. But he's this type of horse where if he doesn't have something to do, he fucking clocks out. And so going on these walks and like keeping him active was really helpful, and it was solid. But yeah. So that's that. I need to get him another one. Because this is absolutely shit he does. I love him. He's a fucking moron. Yeah, when he looks at me like I owe him payment for the money he lent me 3 months ago so that I could clear my gambling debt, but instead I used it to try to get in the Mafia's poker game, and I lost it after the mob refused to give me the money because I cleaned them. Yeah. The hillbilly music really sold it. Yes, Hugo can absolutely nap for 16 hours a day. Meanwhile, mine is trying to break into the fence. And yes, it was a $100 ball that lasted 10 minutes. Ellis is absolutely correct. Your horse has ADHD, constant interest in engagement. You think it's funny. It's true. It's absolutely fucking true. Kind of, yeah. Hell's doing well. So she's 1,000 times calmer. We got her on. So for those of you that are new, hello. I'm Autumn Ivy. I do photosets, audios, videos. I narrate audiobooks. I do voice acting. I act. I generally cause chaos. All my stuff is under autumnivyofficial.com, and I have merch like shirts, stickers, prints under autumnivy.com. Part of that, though, also has to do with the fact that we have a lot of rescues here. We have like I guess you'd call it a hobby farm. I can't call it a ranch because like I don't have that much acreage, but we have a lot of rescues. We have a lot of like standard, these are our animals that we have chosen to have in our life. And then we have some that we didn't choose to have, but they're here and we love them, and that's what matters. Hell was a mare that was shot in the head when she was a filly that we wound up coming across. They were trying to make her a racehorse, which is not only really fucking stupid, but really fucking dangerous for multiple reasons. The side of her face is slack, almost like she was a stroke victim. We had her assessed by the vet. I've gone through kind of the runs of it. You can see that there's some patchiness from where the bullet entered and then passed through. Had it been a fingernail up or a fingernail down, like literally fucking millimeters, she would have been dead. So we wound up with her. They were trying to race her. They scratched her out of the race. I'm no idiot, and neither are you guys. It's pretty clear that a conscious, reasonable fucking vet at a track is not going to let that horse race. Not only is it a danger to her own jockey and to herself, but she would have easily been a danger to the other horses and the other riders. So, it just, some of the shit I found out about this horse is nuts. But the TLDR version is that we have her history, what happened to her. She's a little... So the thing about racehorses is that they keep them constantly hot, pretty much, which means like sugar feeds and high oats and things to keep them energetic, right? So they feed them very like high protein, high energy, high fat type shit. When we first got her, she was out of her fucking mind with like didn't know her ass from a hole in the ground, super high energy, like could not function, which we started to realize was both the feed and like how hopped up she was and her environment, because of course that's a very high, kind of panic. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Very like panic attack, you know? And so I immediately switched her feed. I got her on a type of feed, which Ray has been immensely helpful and kind of almost sponsored her in a way. Because we put her on a type of feed that's meant for not just a kind of a calming feed, but also something that could keep her weight up, but also keep her able to have breathing room. And we also put her on something called Forco, which is like a gut stuff. So it's a good weight gainer, but it also keeps them regular so that they can be healthier. So she's been doing much better. She's 100 times calmer than she was. She is a lot more kind of in herself. Like, you can really see her personality now versus just this horse that was like fucking batshit. She has a really hard time seeing, so she'll walk right into you. She'll walk into the barn, and again, it's not her fault. She doesn't hurt herself, but she's very like, you know, trying to figure out her bearings, I guess. And so working with her is tough, because one of the first things I started to realize is that she sometimes will have nerve firings that will happen that she really can't control. And at first I thought she was being aggressive, but she's very obvious when she's being aggressive. So those of you that have been around horses, like the red mare aura, very much as hell. So like, she'll turn her ears and she'll pin her ears back at you, and she gives you like the go fuck yourself. So it's very clear and obvious when she's having those moments, and that's okay. Like, that's fine, right? Working through that and working with that is not a big deal. What I started to realize, though, is that she has moments where I think a nerve or something fires, and it kind of like, it hurts her, it jerks her a little bit. And so we were doing some groundwork just for, you know, breathing and like letting her kind of be like, look, I need my space, because she's very pushy. But at one point I had the lead rope, and she didn't pin her ears, didn't give me any indication that she was showing aggression, which you will see. Like, there's a difference with aggressive horses, y'all. Like, I've been in front of an aggressive horse who was trying to hurt, and it's not the same. But she gave me no indication, and I had just shifted away, and I was standing calm, we were breathing, everything was fine, and she fucking shot forward, like without any warning. But she shot forward and tried to come through me, and I threw my hands up and made myself really big, and she stopped, you know what I mean? Like, stopped just short of me, but like, that was not a normal behavior. And I was like, okay, maybe it was an accident, fine. And we rewatched the video, but it was very clear it had nothing to do with aggression. And every so often she'll still do it. So what happens is, when we're in the field, if we're like going to do something in the pasture, Voss, my other horse, the horse I used to barrel race, and then Balder will get in between us and her, because she will sometimes, that happens where she just jolts forward and she like charges forward. And again, it is not with aggression. She literally just does not, like, there's no fucking like conscious function that she's doing what she's doing. So Yeah, it can be pretty wild. Yes, absolutely. So she's doing much better is the TLDR. Working with her is just taking time. She's the type of horse that needs a person that is within their own breathing and their own space and is in their own, like, they are very in tune. I have to be within a certain position of self to be able to work with her appropriately and it feel like it's fair, because she's not the kind of horse that I feel confident in knowing what I know about myself from a mental health position to know that mirroring that for her, if I were not in a connected space with myself, would be good for her. And that's not something you ever want to do when you're working with horses, because they are they're mirrors, right? They're very mirror neuron. They're going to reflect your shit back at you 100%. But it can be kind of tough for me because if I'm not in that space of connection. Rother, thank you for the follow. Also, Shinra, thank you for the follow. Blaze, shout out to you for the 1 month. I appreciate that. Yeah, mental state is huge, especially in a horse with as much collective, and that's just the shit we know. Like, there's shit with this horse we probably don't know. But Demonic said it. Mental state is huge. So in a way, no communication for when she does it. Yeah, she's not giving any indicators. So, I guess I could show you guys here. Let me. So this is aggression in a horse. I'm gonna try to find.
Simparica Trio protects against three.
I don't know who this person is, but I'm gonna try to find you guys a really good example of like what an aggressive horse looks like traditionally. Just so you have an idea, because it can be really different. Horses will usually give you an in. So I'm going to show you the beginning of this, and then I'm going to see if there's actual. I do not know if this is a legitimate video of an aggressive and dangerous horse. Steve Young horsemanship. I don't know anything about this person. This isn't like an endorsement. They may be shit. I don't know. Or they may be great. I don't know. But this is a aggressive and dangerous horse. Something needs to change before his owners get hurt. So this is the introduction of the video for this horse. But what you're ultimately going to wind up seeing... So this head yanking and a lot of this stuff, like, this horse is keeping himself away from the person. That behavior, though, is one of those, like, it's dangerous, but he's not coming at them. That biting shit, though, is different. So this I mean, there's a lot of aspects to this, but this is the guy basically going through and talking about it. The rearing up, the jerking, that kind of thing is what you'll see sometimes. So for this, it's interesting because the horse is still keeping a distance. That's interesting. So the second he raises the stick to try to give him space, that right there. So the horse went into him, and what he did is he did a correction. So he didn't whack him. You can see he didn't hit him, but he raised the stick to tell him, like, hey, you need to back the fuck off. I don't think that's a really good example of aggression. I need like ear pinning. Hold on. Let me find something a little more educational. So this is a horse welfare class. Let me see. I don't really have examples. You have to be immensely emotionally regulated with a lot of that.
Hi, I'm Mike Hughes, and we're going to go over some training horse
again,
that I got
to
playful or aggression. It's
here.
just go to the.
Let me try this. What I'm trying to do is find you guys, like, a charging horse. Like, a very aggressive. This might be a good one.
This is...
Let's see. Let's try this one. So, this is lunge work. This is a separate person. It looks like he's trying to coach this girl. So that, where you see that little attitude, so there was a tail flick and then there was an ear cock, and it happened super fast. That shit right there. Okay, this was a good one. This was what I was looking for. That right there. So you see, this horse warned this girl, and here's what I mean. So they're standing, right? The tail is slightly up, her ear is cocked, but you can see right there. So see how the ear came back immediately, and then this little tail flick. So there's a slight tail swish right here when it jumps. This horse warned the girl that as soon as she comes forward, that is a horse that is charging its owner. So with Hell, there's a distinct difference between that type of behavior where it's an obvious aggression of like her pinning her ears and doing a tail swish and giving that body language of like, I'm gonna fucking just come for you. And her behavior, which is very clearly neurological. Her stuff is very, very in her own head. I think that there are some nerve firings, some misfirings that are causing some pain in her hip line and her low back. But there's also some stuff going on up here from where she obviously suffered not just neurological damage from the gunshot, but a few other things. So my best guess when she does that, she's not even realizing that she's like running into you as a person. She's not. A lot of horses are very body aware. So Balder, for example, if I make myself big and I come up at him, right, he knows to make space. So he will move away. Or if I go if I go towards his hind, he sidesteps. He knows to keep his ass away from me. There's like no conscious understanding of body awareness between a person and herself, where she like understands like, oh, I have imagine it like a thin layer of like magic, right? Like imagine a shimmery magic sheen, all fucking like, you know, insert your favorite magic series here, but imagine there's like a sheen. It's an aura, right? Where there's like you, and then here's your little aura, and then here's the horse. There should be that interaction of energy. There's a transference of energy that occurs. And it's almost like she doesn't even realize that exists, which is fucking crazy. I got to work with a Clydesdale. His ex-owner would beat him with a bat and throw salt. That's fucking horrible. Yeah, horses like that, when there's usually a reason, right? There's very clearly a trauma point that occurred for that to occur. You had to connect the dots about what happened to her in the first place since it was so fucking obvious they fucking lied. Oh, yeah, no. But that's a whole thing. But yes, sorry, I didn't mean to tangent, but she's doing better. I'm glad she's doing better. It's just horses with that much trauma, especially in any capacity whatsoever, where like she went from this event occurring to being rush trained for racing to being, you know, in a position where she was supposed to race. She is gaining weight. It's really hard. Thoroughbreds are traditionally hard keepers anyway. She's having a little bit of trouble because wintertime is always rough on horses, but she's doing much fucking better than I expected her to, which I will take. And again, the feed and the Forco have been immensely helpful, so I'm appreciative of that. But I want to do the paintings. And Ellis and I talked about it, and I think what we could do is get the little painting boards and put plastic wrap over it, like put the paint on the board and then put the plastic wrap over it. There's also Balder, I think I could get to hold a paintbrush. I'm not confident, but I think I could probably get Balder to actually hold a paintbrush and paint. We would have to just try it, but I need like animal safe paints. But there's nothing stopping us from doing that. I can also just do like hoof prints, but I think it would be funny. So, hey silly mom, how are you? I had the chiropractor come to try to do an adjustment. We have to wait on it though, because she needs to have more solid weight on her. And she's also, from a handling perspective, she's a little rough. So we have to take our time and have a trust system built for chiropractic work. I do believe that would be pretty helpful for her to like reset her. CBD is a little tough because you want to be conscientious of some of the treatment layers. They do make specialty feeds that are intended for like neurological. She's a little better. So we did, she Ray's right. So she hated men when she got here. Hell's gotten better with men. And I only say that because the second vet visit where we had them come for their teeth floating, for their yearly check-ins and their shots and stuff, it was 2 of the female vets that we have that come out. And then they brought a newbie. So a guy who was on his rotation for vet school, they brought him. And I guess they did it deliberately because they had been warned about Hell. And I was waiting, and she did really, really well, which was great because it's been a couple months, obviously, but she didn't try to charge him. She didn't pin her ears at him. He didn't do a lot of the work. He didn't really touch her a lot, but he did get close and kind of reach his hand out, and she was okay. So I think that she's starting to realize that she's no longer in an environment that doesn't serve that kind of thing, you know? She was okay with Ellis, but Ellis and I also kind of discussed the reasoning behind that. Ellis also is not of that, I guess if you want to put it this way, like that aura, that energy. He doesn't really have that vibe about him. So that also has a lot to do with it. She also watched the way that he interacted with the other horses. And in lieu of that, I think she kind of could ascertain that there was not a threat or not a risk of injury or illness or pain that came from him. So she does fine with Ellis. It's very energy based. So I'm glad. Oh, shit, yeah. Good luck with the motorcycle permit. That's going to be wild, silly. I hope that's a good time. We're okay. We're just vibing. Sundays, we decided we're kind of like an AMA. Kind of like an AMA and just chill day versus gaming and stuff. I'm trying to save games for when I can, but I also have to be cognizant. We were talking about cosplays and figuring out what we were doing, but we jumped into animal conversation, so... Hell yeah. We gotta practice more on our motorcycles. We just haven't had time. It's the neurological and emotional damage from the race training I worry about. I work with racehorses too, and like I said before, I have issues. Understandably. I will tell you that I think that the whole of the horse racing universe is absolute trash. Yes and no. I think there are aspects of it, especially here in the States. There are aspects of it that, no, absolutely not. Do I think that there are some stables and some families that ensure that the care and the love and the affection towards those horses happen? Absolutely. But a lot of it is ignored. And I agree. Yeah, it's exactly what you just said. There are, just like her, I mean, there are instances that fall through the cracks. 100%. Predominantly the neurological damage is my concern with her, but that's also why by no means, because the vet and I had this conversation on the last time that she came by, Hell is not being retrained. She's not going to be like, sold to somebody for use of something afterwards. She's here so that she can live and die and exist in her own peace of her own time. I don't have the capacity to ride a horse like that. 1. 2, never in my life would I, because of what's going on with her, her system. It just wouldn't be fair to her. It would be immensely unfair to her, and it would be extremely dangerous to me, not just because of my own health issues and like what I know could occur, but also because I'm not in a position to say that would be justifiable under any means. So she just gets to live here, and she gets to be with her buddies in the field and chill, and it's going to be a good time. Happy to have you back. But yeah, so she's very much just going to be, a pasture pet and get to do that. And if there ever comes a time where she decides like, no, I want a job, I want something to do, that's different. And she will let me know if that is something that she wants to do. And if that is ever the case, it would be a situation of extensive conversations with the vet, extensive conversations of understanding, of making sure that she really does want to have something to do, and let that be something that she makes the choice to do. And by no means would I ever put her in a position of forcefulness of like, you're going to learn these things. The only thing that I'm going to go back over with her on is groundwork and basic manners and things like that, so that she, you know, is not just this wild ass horse in the field, right? Manners are still required, but, you know, outside of that, no. Yeah, I mean, she really is. But and that's the sad part, is she's 5. Like, she's still a kid, kind of, for all intents and purposes, you know? But yeah, she just gets to chill. You know, that's everybody else's thing, is if they, Balder and Hugo both have their respective babysitting jobs, you know? Yeah, very much. Doesn't she have a horse boyfriend in your group? Yeah, she really likes Voss, but her and Hugo get along quite a bit, too. We were just talking about the horses. You're good. She is a bit, yeah, she's still a baby for all intents and purposes. Usually, like, 7, 8 years old is the maturity point. 8 usually is like a maturity point. So she still is, you know, she's in her, I guess, kind of her, like, her 20s, like, late teens, you know? Yeah. She's just a baby. Dogs, chickens, quail, cats, a spider, a bitchy lychee gecko, some bearded dragons, butterflies right now that we need to release, shrimp, fuck ton of shrimp. What's a quail? It's a type of bird. Yeah, a quail is a bird. Yeah. Just a little curly hair. She chills. She's back there. We had a friend of ours rehomed her to us because she was scared that her cat would eat him. So we have, or eat her. So we have her now. Because the cat kept fucking with the thing she was in, and understandably she was like, I don't want to risk this. Like, I want him to be safe, so. The elk are good. We haven't seen them come through, but it's also seasonal, so we're going to see that happen. I'm going to get a guard goose. So turkeys are fucking phenomenal for that. For real. The turkeys, you ever want a good yard bird? We've had solid luck with the turkeys. Christmas was one of the best fucking yard birds we ever had. 100%. Hello, welcome. Those soldiers are still in jail to this day. Fucking better be. I'm glad that they're okay. I'm glad he made it. Yeah, Christmas was a good bird. Butterball, fat as fuck in terms of like just general size, but that's like also the breed. He was a butterball turkey. He wasn't supposed to live as long as he did, and he just had a good life. Love that bird. I have, JP. I thought I had sent you a video of that, or I had taken a video of it, but yes, we have. So I think what I'm gonna do this time around. Yeah, no, the goose. So it's goose, donkeys, mules. Those 100% every time, man. They will fucking tell you. But you're right. Geese will absolutely. Especially if they're tied to you. They will. The fucking, that's geese and turkeys, I think both. The video Ellis showed of Christmas bigging to you in the gym. Yes. Because he was like, he was prostrating that day. Before I had the gym here, I had a barn gym, for those of you that don't know, in the early days. And like, Christmas would wander into the barn gym, because it's where we kept the hay and shit too. And he would wander in while I was working out during COVID and like harass me. It was his favorite thing to do. Absolutely. He did. I'm getting swole. There's a video on Ellis's thing somewhere. I think he reposted it. But, yeah. So, I have a couple of things. I've got to sit down and make my list for the week for what we're going to do, what I'm going to work on. I need to try to salvage what I've got in terms of, like, vocal stuff for the audiobooks and things I've got to do. But I did want to make sure that I at least did my stream like normal for you guys. And have a good time and do our chat like we usually do. But I think what I'm going to do this time...
That is the goal.
There we go. Yeah. But I think what I'm going to do this time is just kind of let it be chill, and we're going to call it here. I have a couple of things that I need to make sure that I get done outside of the planning. So I'm going to go ahead and end this for the moment. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time. And I appreciate you guys chilling and chatting. I know that it's always a thing depending on, you know, what it is. We're going to raid. I'm going to have you guys raid out. I appreciate those of you that have hung out and talked. We'll find some topics for next time too. Thursday is going to probably be a stream day again. I'm going to make sure that we get back around to some more indie horror and a couple of other things too. I know that I had a few games that are on sale. I also looked at doing Crimson Desert. So if that's of interest, maybe we'll play a little bit of Crimson Desert. Should be fine. Or I'm going to work on costumes. It really just depends. But I'm going to raid into Elia Mountjoy. So that is one of the voice actors for Marvel Rivals. They are currently live, I think, playing Marvel Rivals. So if you guys want something fun to watch, I'm going to send you over to Elia. Tell them I said hello and to have a great stream. But as always, you can find my photosets, audios, videos, and more at autumnivyofficial.com. Malevola, of course, was just released, and the audio should go out today as well. So if you guys want, the audio is being shipped out too. And then all of the merch that I currently have is at autumnivy.com too, with more to come. But we'll raid out. You guys please take care of yourselves again. Drink water, you know, take care of your grandma's goldfish. Take that for a walk too if you're into it. Whatever works, but say hi to Elia for me. Okay, I love you. Bye.